are live on a Thursday night with Mike Storey, who's got a special beverage on tap. What do you got for us, man?
Coca-Cola Cherry Float. It's the specialty beverage for the summer, and it's delicious, by the way.
Wally's in here. He says he loves his community. He also loves you, Storey. So he's just on cloud nine. The community, he's got you. Your hair looks great. Everything is. You're drinking Coke, so you're gonna be a little fired up for this one.
Letting this grow out a little bit. We'll see what maybe I'll shave this weekend. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not really having a plan for the rest of this week.
Also, Marvin Harrison caught a touchdown in the preseason game today. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I was watching the Packers game. I saw Drew Aller run for a touchdown. Did you see that?
No, I saw he lit up the world, though. It was two passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. And this is why we need to take a little break on the love of Carson Beck, because, Drew Aller is the biggest prospect in terms of he's going to take a while to develop. And we all know that with Drew Aller, and he played amazing in preseason. That was what Carson Beck did was the Hall of Fame game. So let's just pump the brakes on Carson Beck is going to take over Brissett's job week 4. Not going to happen.
I don't know, man. Maybe week 5. When's their bye week?
Week 14.
Well, okay. That's a ways away.
Gotcha.
I guess we'll see.
Gotcha. 26 days until week 1. Yeah, Marvin Harrison, 1 catch, 7 yards, and a touchdown in the one drive. It was nothing special, but you know what? So that's what Marvin Harrison does do, is catch touchdowns, and pretty important stuff. I do have a pull-up, and we're going to get to this is the league-winning wide receiver segment. We did the show on, was it Monday, the running back league winning show. We loved it so much. It was a great exercise. We decided to do another one for wide receivers, and we're going essentially 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I added a couple 6 rounders just to make it interesting, and I'm going to pull up the criteria here real quick, and then we're going to get into some other stuff before we get to the segment. But we have 5 criteria: talent / breakout age, volume / target share, efficiency, touchdown upside, and offensive environment. So I feel like these 5 are super important in predicting the next JSN, because if you look at all this stuff, we're going to do quarterback play, but then Sam Darnold played pretty well last year, but JSN did all that last year with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, actually, I got outvoted. Instead of talent / breakout age, I would have just had age there, strictly the age of the wide receiver, because I don't know that you can find a breakout wide receiver or a league-winning wide receiver over the age of 29. I just don't know that it happens. I mean, how old was Antonio Brown's last great year? How old was he then?
Well, if we just go age, though, I want to have some kind of talent metric, because we want to make sure this guy, JSN, was clearly super talented, and you mix that with the breakout age. So I think it's one of these things where a player like Devontae Adams is pretty talented still. He's a Hall of Famer, but the age is going to hurt him. So he's not going to be over a 6 or a 5 in this category. So, you didn't get outvoted because it's just me and you. So technically our votes counter, they counteract each other. So I'm like the head of the household, so my vote equals 2. So why are we even doing a vote?
Yeah, that's what my dad always said. My vote counts for 1 more than everybody else's combined.
Well, I figure I gave you. We met in the middle on some of this stuff. I think I'm pretty fair about it, and we have something with talent, because we can't be like Carnell Tate. By the way, did not look great today in the preseason game. I don't have him on this list because he's a rookie, and we haven't seen him play in the NFL, so I kind of avoided that. But pretty fair 5 categories. Each category is worth 10 points. And the closer you get to 50, obviously the closer you are to an elite ceiling in terms of these league-winning players. But let's get into some other stuff, Storey, before we talk about the actual segments. And we don't want to talk too much preseason because it's preseason, but we do have some news for you guys.
Guys, I've got news. I've got terrible news.
Oh, so this is exactly what I wanted a vacation from.
There are 2 guys in this church that are gay.
Who's the other guy?
I don't get the joke.
Yeah, he's never going to understand.
What's wrong with that?
First item, Jordan Tyson. He had the soft tissue stuff in, the combine, and then he had it again to start the OTAs, and now there's another one. Hamstring injury. Ricky Pearsall 2.0. Hopefully Dakota's not in here. He'll bite my head off, but this is not good. I love the talent of Tyson, but we couldn't deny the injury history in college. Keenan Allen had similar, start to his career with a lot of soft tissue stuff. He has figured it out, but this is not great. This is not great at all.
No, this is not great. I mean, you have to move him down your board, probably to another tier. I think you can move Luther Burden down to the the bottom of the current tier he's in because they said he's going to be fine for week 1, and we've seen the talent on the field. Jordan Tyson, rookie coming into the league. I don't know that you can realistically trust him in the first half of the season, and this could be a nagging thing. He might re-injure at week 1 and go on the pup. We don't know. This is just a bad situation all around. I don't know does it feel like there's more injuries, even little injuries in preseason, or is it just because there's more news in general? It's more prevalent. I don't know, but it feels like, Josh Jacobs, Puka Nacua, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, Devonta Smith, obviously the Pearsall situation. Like, it just feels like everybody and their mother's getting banged up.
Well, Jaden Daniels' mom's getting banged. That's for sure. Jonathan says, "Woot woot, fellas. Hello, Storey." And he said he does the little love thing. You know what?
What's up, Jonathan?
That's a really cool thing about Jeremiah Love. You know how these guys have their custom. Remember the salsa from Victor Cruz? That was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
The Jeremiah Love thing is cool. It is cool. Like, I can see my wife Erica falling in love with Jeremiah Love because it's just kind of a cool thing. She likes doing the little heart thing. Mine looks like a circle. But what's going on, Jonathan? Max's hot take: Mendoza to Bowers is gonna be better than Mahomes and Kelsey.
Could be.
Mahomes and Kelsey is the greatest connection. Brady to Gronk is probably the all-timer in terms of quarterback to tight end, but Mahomes and Kelsey, the touchdowns weren't there. Like, the Gronk thing was insane for the touchdowns, but the connection that Mahomes and Kelsey had was probably the best of all time, right? Like, it's Danny DeVito and Charlie and Sonny. Like, they can read each other's minds. They have a weird connection with each other. And that's why Kelsey is still going to be relevant this year. It's a relative term relevant, but that connection is never going away. And they have a lot of work to do to get there, but it's coming in together. Bowers being a third-year player, kind of a veteran compared to Mendoza. And Mendoza is first overall pick. But what do you think about that? A chance for this?
It's hot, but Bowers is a generational prospect and a generational talent. We saw it his rookie year. He was banged up last year. I have every expectation that he should get back to form barring injury and will be the overall tight end 1, probably like the 10th best pass catcher if I had to guess. I would guess he would be as good as the wide receiver 10 at the end of the season. So you take Mendoza, he's a rookie, he's going to get on the field. He develops into, the Raiders took him number 1 overall for a reason. They hired Kubiak, turning that organization around. If they develop that mind meld, Kelsey figure out a way to. We always watch games and we were like, wow, it's bold of the defense not to cover Travis Kelsey. But Kelsey's just so cerebral. He knew exactly where to sit, where to find those soft spots in the defensive coverage, like how to get outside of the zone coverage, like just things that you would see in really like Antonio Brown level players in terms of their football intelligence. Bowers is a physical specimen. I don't know if he's got that intelligence to him. Remains to be seen. But third year, this should be his rocket ship year.
The Kelsey thing was perfect because early in his career, first half of his career, he was so fucking athletic. So he was just crushing man coverage like none other. And then as he lost his athleticism, he became an all-timer in terms of understanding pockets and zone coverage. So, like, that's why the Kelsey career has been so smooth because what he lost in athleticism, he gained in intellect. And, like, that's what the all-timers have. Let's see. I had one more point to make, but I totally forgot the points. Oh, sorry. The Bowers thing. So even if it's not Mendoza, like, we like it with Kirk Cousins. And you mentioned a top 10 receiver for Bowers in terms of equal that. I've been pretty firm in the stance that Bowers will outscore Pickens in full PPR. Would you take Bowers or Pickens total points?
If I was playing with a league with just pass catchers and no delineation between wide receiver and tight end, I could realistically see taking Bowers before George Pickens and fully expecting him to end up there.
Yeah, where it gets a little murky is the tier before, the players before. It's AJ Brown and Drake London. But, what does Bowers, there's a metric for this. I don't know off the top of my head. What does Bowers have to do to be more valuable than Drake London and AJ Brown? He doesn't have to outscore them because he plays tight end. Like 80%, right? 80% of the scoring will be a more valuable pick.
That's why he's so valuable, and especially in those shallower leagues where you're playing in 10-team leagues or leagues that only start 2 wide receivers, because the opportunity cost is not as great when you don't have to start as many wide receivers and running backs in that case. So he is valuable because of the position in which he plays. The replacement is he does something that you don't see quarterbacks doing. Like the difference between Josh Allen and the 10th quarterback is not nearly as great as Brock Bowers and the 10th quarterback or 10th running back, wide receiver, tight end. God damn. And yeah, so there you go.
And not to mention, you can always, I know there's always tight ends you can grab on the wire, but like the replacement level quarterback, if he gets hurt, if a quarterback gets hurt compared to tight end getting hurt, like you're replacing Bowers with Kate Otten, your favorite guy, Kate Otten. You're replacing Josh Allen or Lamar with Baker Mayfield, right? Like that's the difference. Like I trust Baker to have elite top 5 production, top 10 production some of the time. Like, are you ever getting that from Kate Otten unless the whole team's dead? And in that case, he does actually produce that. But usually you're going to get tight end 16 in the week, which is literally 5 points.
Yeah, I doubt that you're getting that from Kate Otten ever again in his career, realistically. Too much talent on that team. He's not a good talent in and of himself.
Did Kate Otten sleep with your wife or something?
No,
he did something.
I know exactly what Kate Otten is. You want 4 points? Here, go ahead and start Kate Otten.
Dropping balls in the rain with no gloves. Why aren't you wearing gloves, man? He's a badass. He's a throwback. You know
Why aren't you wearing gloves, dude? The team will buy them for you.
They will, and they'll buy you new ones every game.
Grace?
Fucking hell yeah! Don't ever talk bad about Mark Grace. He's one of the goats. Imagine if Mark Grace took steroids. We have another news item to get to that's just blowing my mind here, and it ties into the poll. I put a poll up there today in the chat. I said hit the like, which definitely hit the like. More PPR points in 2026. I have Brian Thomas and Parker Washington. Right now it's a 50-50 tie. Only 6 votes. We'll check in on that a little later. But the Parker Washington hype is insane. I don't want to spoil too much because we have both these guys on the list. But in these best ball drafts, dude, especially in the full PPR, like everyone's taking Parker Washington over Brian Thomas, and this is best ball, which makes no sense. And on the full PPR front of like drafters and DraftKings, I've seen Parker Washington go in the 40s. The 40s. Parker, and this report is essentially saying that Brian Thomas is not going to be moving around. He's going to be the X receiver, which is kind of what we expected. And at the end of the report, it says this kind of essentially, I'm paraphrasing, saying that this solidifies Parker Washington as the team's number 1 receiver. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. Storey, what do you think about this?
I don't know what to think about this. There's just too much talent in Jacksonville right now. Just buy into Trevor Lawrence and that passing attack in general. They paid, what's his name, Bretton Strange. Parker Washington has been absolutely stunning in camp. Brian Thomas has been fine. They're going to play some Travis Hunter. Jacoby Myers is an underrated receiver. I'm not sure that I can trust any one of these guys on a week-to-week basis, except maybe Parker Washington. I don't know. I know that you're not huge on Parker Washington, but the conflicting.
Hold on. No. I am huge on Parker Washington. I was the Parker Washington bro last year. You want to know why? Because he was waiver wire fodder. You're right. We have to be concerned when a guy goes from undrafted in terms of fantasy drafts the year before. Where was Parker Washington drafted in real life? 6th round.
Yeah, but he had an injury that dropped his draft stock.
I don't want to play the fucking draft capital game because we're off that with Puka and some of these other guys. I'm just saying, like, to go from 6th round pick to undrafted in fantasy to waiver wire darling to now getting drafted ahead of Brian Thomas is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm not saying that it can't work out, and I'm not saying there's not a 30% chance that he is the number 1 receiver there, but to draft it as such, especially in best ball, is fucking stupid. That's not how you make money. You're buying Parker Washington as absolute ceiling right now, and you're Brian Thomas is at his floor. There's a good chance that you're never going to get Brian Thomas cheaper.
I don't know that you are buying him at his ceiling. Like, this is the slot flanker role that Parker Washington is going to play. There's report. So he played what, 80% of the snaps last year in a not full-time role. If that ticks up even 5%.
No, dude. No, he was 60% last year.
Okay, second half of the year, he was playing 80% of the snaps.
No, he was never playing 80% of the snaps.
Come on.
I'm going to pull it up right now for you, dude. Let's I'm going to get a clip here while I look this up.
Say somebody put a gun to your head. Said, do you want your baby to be lighter or darker? What would you choose?
Why is someone holding a gun to my head and asking me what shade I would prefer my son to be?
I don't know. So
why is he putting a gun to my head?
He wants to find out what your preference is. So you're walking down the street with Will, and he snatches you into the backseat of the car, and now he's got a gun to your head. You want a lighter or a darker baby? What shade?
Get away from me.
What color is the guy holding the gun?
He's mocha, right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
50-50. You want it lighter or darker?
I would say on the lighter side.
Here we go. Week 13 on. Parker Washington, 38%, 45%, 56%, 81%, 74%, 71%. So at the end, he was playing 72%.
Okay. Well, what about that 84%?
It was 81%.
81%. 81, 84, and 72. So
no 84. I don't know where you're hearing 84 from. You're hopium. You want 84. And yes, that was with Brian Thomas injured, right? So Brian Thomas was in the 70s as well. The one game was 57%. The point is, this was a Travis Hunter not factoring because he was hurt. So like Parker Washington's going to be a 60% snap share player this year. You mark it down. Unless Jacoby Myers is going away. Is Jacoby Myers going away?
You can't put that genie back in the bottle. There's no way. Like his connection with Trevor Lawrence was undeniable. Don't forget, there was some buzz about Parker Washington coming into the draft season. Injury drafted his draft stock, and then he kind of faded into obscurity for that reason. But it's not unreasonable to think that he just took that next step. This offense is going to be good. I think they're going to lean into 12 personnel to start, and they're not going to be able to do it as much as they want. Because how do you keep Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers, and Parker Washington off the field? How are you going to keep the guy Parker Washington off of the field? I don't see that. Liam Cohen seems like a reasonable coach. I don't understand how you could keep him off of the field.
All that buzz you were referring to was from me. I was the Parker Washington bro. I'm telling you, and that's why it's funny that coming from me, I'm the one that's lowest on Parker Washington. It's not that I'm low on him. I would take him in the 70s for sure. It's just everyone else is so high on him off a small sample, and they love him as a punt returner. He's not losing that role. Brian Thomas is the one there. It's just the bottom line. He's just the better player. Parker is a very elite slot player, which is a nice role with Liam Cohen. I'm not going to deny that, but I don't know. I mean, I can't get on board with it. In the 40s and 50s, dude, in the 50s.
Vegas has Parker Washington leading the Jags wide receiver core in receiving yards this year. So that, there's something there.
Vegas isn't always right. I mean, I guess are you going to draft Parker Washington in the 5th or 6th round this year? Is what you're telling me?
I mean, when I get into the 5th round, I'm realistically shooting for upside, because what's the difference between what am I'm going to draft Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, right?
No, you're going to you should draft Brian Thomas after him, and that's just easy money.
I mean, I don't know. I think that slot flanker role is more valuable in this Liam Cohen offense than the X wide receiver role.
It definitely is. Just the better player. All right, let's move on to the segment. Nice little. Guess what? We have Brian Thomas and Parker Washington on this list, and for some reason, you give Parker Washington a better rating. I'm gonna fucking drive to your house live during the stream. I'm gonna keep it on, and you're gonna witness a murder on the actual stream. Storey, I'm gonna kill you with your teacup.
It's already got a chip in it, so.
Well, it's gonna have a fucking. Have you seen Obsession yet? There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Obsession yet? It's pretty good.
I saw it. It was good. A24 is good. They're doing good work.
All right, let's get to the segments. Here's the criteria. We're gonna start reverse though. We're gonna start at the bottom, 6th-round receivers, and we're gonna go all the way up into the 3rd round. We're not doing 1st and 2nd-round receivers. We have one comment I'll get to before we get into the segment. Sir Danish, bro, what's up, guys? Can you all rate my team? Drake May, Jonathan Taylor, A-Chain, A.J. Brown, Pickens, Kenneth Walker, Fannin, redraft PPR. I mean, Kenneth Walker's your flex. It must be a 10-team league. It's a fucking A.
I mean, yeah. I don't know what you want us to rate, dude. Unless this is an 8-team league. I don't understand how you would get Jonathan Taylor, A-Chain, and Kenneth Walker, and A.J. Brown. I mean, those guys are all.
I just drafted an ESPN league with a fan on the show last night. We got Kenneth Walker in the 3rd round.
Okay, but where's Pickens?
That's shitting you. Pickens. I mean, this was an ESPN league with a bunch of weird. He made trades. Okay. So.
All right.
Yeah, this is an A plus, bro.
Yeah. You got to give us that
elite quarterback, elite tight ends. JT. You have 3 RB1s. AJ Brown and Pickens are 2 borderline wide receiver ones. It's your weakness is Fannin, but we love Fannin in PPR. So hell of a team.
I don't love Fannin in PPR. Fannin's fine in PPR. He's not a love.
Well, PPR doesn't matter to you, man. That's the same shit.
That's true. That's
all right. Here's the criteria. 5 categories. We're rating each categories for each receiver up to 10 points. Max you can get is 50. No one's gonna get a 50, but the closer you get to 50, the more likely you are to be next year's JSN. So we are going to start at the top, the tippy top in terms of the back, 6 rounds. And this is my boy who just got a touchdown today, Mr. Marvin Harrison. So, talent and breakout age from Marvin Harrison. So this should be like a 10 based on what it was coming out of the draft, but it's clearly not a 10. What do you have for this? The breakout age is ideal, 23 years old. Everything is set up there. The talent has not really been great on the field. What do you have for this story?
Okay, so when you're talking breakout age, are you talking breakout age in college or their declare age? I'm still a little fuzzy on the talent / breakout age. That's why I said we should just make it simple and go age, because he's 24 years old.
Yeah, his breakout age is like a 10 because that's the perfect age, right? It's third year, right? Third year. So a bad number, a rookie is an issue, or really young, but we're not having any rookies on this list. A guy like Devontae Adams is not good.
Wouldn't an old rookie be? I mean, if you're talking breakout age, that would be an issue, right? An old rookie, because you don't want a late declare.
Exactly. So Marvin Harrison, for instance, should be a 10 in terms of breakout age. Like that half of the equation. You can't get better than third-year player at 23 years old. So essentially the sweet spot is going to be like 23, 24, 25. Where like if a guy's been in the league for 5 years and he hasn't done it and he's 27, not great, right? Not saying it couldn't happen, but not great. So talent and breakout age. Obviously the age of 23, really nice. What about the talent story? What do you have for this?
I mean, talent is – the pedigree is undeniable. The talent has been somewhat lacking on the field. He's never had good bursts. He's never really had good agility. I would say probably a 6 for talent because we've had 2 seasons of underproduction relative to expectations in the NFL. I mean, if he was coming out, you probably put him at a 9. So I say if you want to talk breakout age, talent, split the difference and go with an 8. I think that's reasonable.
That is reasonable. It's untapped potential. Let's just go there. Untapped potential. Volume and target share. So he has been targeted a lot in his career, and this team's going to pass the ball a lot, not as much as last year. What do you think for this? This doesn't seem like it should be super high because Trey McBride is the number 1 there.
Yeah, but it should be a high volume passing offense. At least we expect it to be. Target share, what has he averaged target share wise in his first 2 years? It hasn't been great, right? We want to see target shares in the mid to high 20s. And last year he posted a 18% target share. So that's significantly less than ideal. His target rate was only 19.8%. He only played 72% of the snaps. Volume probably is not as high as we would expect with the team he's on. I don't know, like a 4 maybe? No, it's got to be higher than that. He's third year.
Yeah, I would say 6. I think 6 is fair. All right, so 6 for that. Efficiency. Now, pass efficiency would be like a 3. The touchdowns is nice, though, and this is just general efficiency. I'm thinking like a 5. Because we're also doing some projecting here. But
yeah, I mean, there's a number of issues. Like his first read target, he was number 43 in the league last year in terms of first read targets. Deep target share, he was halfway decent, number 19. Red zone target share, only 15% last year. Would you say a 5? I would say a 4 on efficiency.
We can go 4.
Yeah. I
don't want to just do a bunch of projecting. I mean,
it's also a little like there's one wonky stat. His yards per reception were high, but even like his yards per team pass attempt were low. Yards per target, yards per route run 1.65, not great. So I would say 4.
Touchdown upside. I mean, this shouldn't be a 10 or anything because you're also still playing the Cardinals, but it's been really nice. You know, it's 0.45 touchdowns per game for his career, which is pretty tasty, and that's when he has been playing bad and not in a good situation. I'm not saying it's a great situation this year. This should be his best shot with Brissett, new coaching staff, Jeremiah Love. I want to put 8 here. I think 8 is he has an 8 touchdown year as a rookie. I think he can get to 10 touchdowns.
I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to say 6. His red zone efficiency metrics are less than ideal, and I don't think there's as much touchdown upside on this team as people would think. So I'm going to say 6 for the upside.
All right, we're going to go 7 right in the middle of our 2 numbers. And then offensive environment, we're definitely going to disagree on this one. I don't think it's great, but there's worse offenses. The defense is so bad, it's going to make it a decent environment, right? It's not the Browns where they're going to be in some mucky games. There's going to be a fucking shootout team. So I'm guessing you're going to say like 4.
I'm going to say 2. This offense sucks. Jacoby Brissett sucks. Carson Beck's despite his playing against, third stringers looking like Peyton Manning reincarnated, he sucks too. This whole offense is going to be atrocious again.
Brissett didn't suck last year, just so you know. He was awesome for fantasy points.
They also went 1-9 last year. They're not going to let that happen.
Yeah. All right. You say 2, I say 6. We're going to go 4. We're meeting in the middle. So he has 8, 6, 4, 7, 4. That's 15 and 14. That is 29. Is that right? That is 29. Mm-hmm. That is not ideal. 29 for Marv. 6th-round pick. Let's go to Brian Thomas next, and let's see how Brian Thomas grades out. So talent and breakout age. Man, if we gave Marv an 8, this has to be a 9, right? Like, because we've seen him do it on the field.
I mean, I didn't give Marv an 8. You gave Marv an 8. What did I give?
You said 7.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the talent, like the athletic profile, is better than Marvin Harrison. So, but I'm not willing the big step back like that. That's a huge red flag when you have a significant drop in volume and efficiency year 2. That's a big red flag going forward. So I think you should also keep this as an 8.
That's fair. I'll go 8 here. And I would go higher, but we didn't have a category for role. And the problem is the role is not lucrative in the offense. And also Trevor Lawrence is not great at throwing those deep outs and stuff like that. So volume and target share. We had a 6 for Marv. This is probably a 5, right?
I'm going to go
exactly
4.
Average.
Yeah. I mean, I can be talked into a 5, but 19.3% target share last year. Numbers like slot snaps, and I know that slot role is very valuable to Liam Cohen. He was number 71 in the league for qualified wide receivers last year. So I think a 4, but if you want to go with a 5, give him a 5. That's fine.
Let's go 5. Just because also the running back room isn't great. You know what I mean? Like they should throw the ball this year more than this year than they did last year with having ETN there. So 5 is fair. Efficiency. Yeah. Now this one, he's very efficient as a rookie, and they were giving him some end arounds and stuff around in the red zone stuff. But man, it was super inefficient last year. So we can maybe split the difference from his first 2 years in the NFL. This is probably an average number, right? 4 or 5.
Dude, 2.55 yards per route run in his rookie year, 1.59 yards per route run last year. Like, is there a bigger difference? Like, that's so stark. Not particularly explosive. We don't have a whole lot of explosive plays on the record for him. I think a 5 is just fine.
5 is cool. Touchdown upside. Now, we gave Marv a 7. This should be a little lower.
Should be a
just
5.
Based on his track record. Another 5.
Yeah, I mean, he only had 7 red zone targets last year, 1 designated target. So I think they're comfortable spreading the ball around the 20 and the 10-yard line.
All right, and then offensive environment. This is going to be better than we gave the Cardinals a 4. I'm thinking 7 here. What do you have?
Yeah, 7 seems very in line with what I was thinking. They're still going to want to run the ball there.
We have 28 for Brian Thomas. 28 for Brian Thomas. That is 1 lower than Marv. That's about right. More mouths to feed there as well. So let's move on to the 5th round receivers. And this one's interesting because the Luther Burden injury, but Rome Odunze, I'd like to think he's going to score higher than these guys. Let's talk it out. So talent and breakout age, former 9th overall pick. Dude has pedigree. Rough rookie year, but pretty nice last year before he was injured. What do you have for this one? Is this a little lower than Marv and Brian Thomas?
I think you're forgetting how good of a prospect he was at Washington. His athleticisms, I mean, he's got comparables to Justin Jefferson in terms of speed score, burst score, agility, catch radius, etc. I think he's higher than at this point, because if we're just talking like the prospects what they were when they were coming out, sure, I'd give you Marv, but I think Rome Odunze at this point, all in all, he's got a better athleticism score. He's on a better team. I know that's not what we're talking about right now, but in terms of like how old is he? He's 24.1. He's barely older than Marvin Harrison. I think an 8 here.
All right. 8 is good. Volume and target share. This is interesting because they lost DJ Moore.
Yep.
And Luther Burden is banged up like we talked about. So I'm thinking 6 for this. It's not going to be, Caleb is going to take off and run as well. They want to run the ball there. So target share might be higher than the volume, but I have it around 6.
100 targets as a rookie, 90 targets last year. I got to expect that goes up. It's a pretty concentrated. You know, I honestly think that those top three guys, Loveland, Burden, and Roma Dunze, they could account for 70% of the Bears' targets. I think there's enough. These guys are that good. So I'm going to go higher. What did you give him?
I was thinking 6.
I think you should go 7.
Okay, I got 7. You're not a Cleve Raymond fan, apparently.
Cleve Raymond.
All right, efficiency. You know, the issues with Rome has been his drops, honestly, and it hasn't necessarily. And Caleb was pretty bad the first half of last season, but the efficiency problems have been with him. He's tied to Ben Johnson, so this should be definitely higher than Marv and Brian Thomas. We had a 4 for Marv and a 5 for Brian Thomas. So what do you have? I have a number in my head.
Yeah, so his yards per route run ticked up 0.4 from his rookie year to last year. You're absolutely correct that drops are a big problem there. He was number 6 in drop rate last year, which is not ideal. But his explosive rating is right there. So I'd say the efficiency, I think I'm going to give him a 1.7. I think I'm going to give him a 6. Yeah, I think 6.
That's exactly what I had in my head. So Roma for a nice start, 8.76 start for him.
Touchdown
upside.
Trending down.
He is trending down. Touchdown upside. So I'm going to put it lower than Marv had 7. Do we tie it with Marv? Because the offense, right? Caleb is definitely better than Brissett. And
I mean, I would
Loveland
go 8.
is going to eat into this, though. Really?
Loveland will eat into it, but last year he had a 25% red zone target share, which was number 13 in the league last year. So that in and of itself is pretty valuable, and it's a much better offensive environment. So I would go 8 for touchdown upside. There's going to be a lot of touchdowns scored if Ben Johnson is to be believed.
All right. You love your Ben Johnsons. Wink, wink. Offensive environment. This has to be an 8 as well, man. If we go off from last year, we had a 7 for the Jags. Maybe we go 7 since we had a 7 for the Jags. I think they're both pretty similar teams.
Yeah, 7 seems pretty good, although
not going lower, dude. The Bears are ascending.
No. I'm not buying into the hype yet. Let's wait and see what actually happens.
36 for Roma Dunze. So we had 29 for Marv, 28 for Brian Thomas, and 36 for Roma Dunze. So I'm curious to see how this pairs up with the rest of the 5th round guys. He actually goes latest of the next 6 guys we have. The 5th round has 6 receivers typically going in it. So that's a nice score for Rome for where you're getting him. And
yeah, that's pretty nice.
He'll probably be ticked up a little bit in draft season if we don't get a lot of news about Luther Burden. But you know, the Luther Burden truthers are for real. They love this fucking kid. And I think Roma Dunze is kind of old news, right? Which is great for us because I've been drafting Rome, not over Burden because I don't have to, but I've been drafting a lot more Rome in best ball based on the price. And I actually think he's number 1 there.
There is a lot of steam. How has the Burden injury adjusted his ADP? I'd be curious to know.
He was 42 to 43 overall an underdog before the injury, which is insane. And now he goes like 52. So 10 pick dip, 8 pick dip, which seems quite a bit. But the point is he should have never been going that high in the first place. So I think the market has adjusted both ways. And then Roma Dunze was around pick 60, 63. And now he's in like 58, 57 overall.
Okay.
All right. Next name, our boy, actually Storey's boy, Parker Washington. I can't believe he's even in this fucking conversation, but we'll talk about it. Talent and breakout age, pretty talented. We had an 8 for Marv, Brian Thomas, and Roma Dunze. This must be lower than that. Sorry to break it to you, man. Nice little player, nice little slot player, but not a versatile dude. It's a 6 for me. 6 for me, dog.
I mean, yeah, he compares very similarly to Jeremy Maclin, so that's not ideal. Rookie year was wholly disappointing. Again, he was coming off that injury. Even his sophomore year, he only had 390 receiving yards. Did tick up pretty heavily last year. What did you put him at? A 7?
6.
6. I think that might be even too high. Let's
go 5. Average player.
5.
Fuck yes, dude. All right, cool. You have to convince me to drive it down. Again, I was the biggest Parker Washington bro ever last year. It's just funny how everything switches. I've stayed the same on him. I'm not going to get over my skis on fucking 5 games. Everyone else is just going insane with fucking buzz. Volume and target share. So efficiency is going to be very high for him, I'm guessing. But volume and target share, as a guy that started him a lot last year after I got him off the waivers, it was, the targets weren't there. It was 5, 6 targets, those kind of things. It was never like 9 targets, right? It was never a monster target game for him. And so many mouths to feed there. I have a number in my head. What do you have?
What do you think his number of targets he ended up with last year?
Oh, 95?
That's exactly correct. 95, 5.9 targets per game last year. But so his target share, 18.4%. You mentioned there's a lot of mouths to feed there. Route participation, only 67%. I think this is probably – I think he's going to play more this year. But there's still a lot of dudes that need to be fed. So probably a 5.
I am fine with that. 5 for Parker. Efficiency should probably be an 8 is what I'm thinking. Because, dude, he does convert on his targets, and he does a lot with the ball in his hands after the catch. I'm not going to deny the fact that Parker Washington's a very efficient player. It's about volume and role. What do you have for this one?
Let's see. Let's take a look at the efficiency max. Yeah, I think 8 is good. 2.2 yards per route run last year, 8.9 yards per target. We'd love to see that tick up. 14.6 yards per reception. That's right there with Marv. So I think an 8 is definitely reasonable.
Okay, touchdown upside. I mean, he has scored some touchdowns per target, all those kind of things, but he's not a red zone merchant. He has touchdown upside as a punt returner. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
He's got 3 or 4 return touchdowns on his career, right?
I think 5 is fair for this one as well.
Trying to see.
Do you want to go 6 because he's tied to a good offense? And
I think that's reasonable. I think 6.
We'll go 6.
Good catch rate, good low number. He did have a few drops last year.
We'll go 7. We gave Brian Thomas a 7 for offensive environment. It's only fair to give Parker Washington the same.
Yeah.
We could go a little higher because of the role, but that's not the equation we're doing here. So we're gonna go 7. That gives Parker Washington 14, 24. That gives him a 31, which is actually higher than
Brian Thomas.
I had this at 10. How is that higher than Brian Thomas? I disagree with this. But he goes higher than Brian Thomas, but 31 for Parker Washington. I'm taking I kind of made this segment up. Now I don't like it. I don't like it anymore. All right. Christian Watson. I'm hoping he scores pretty high on this. Talent and breakout age. How old is Christian Watson, Storey? You're the guy that with all the stuff in front of you.
6, I think. Right?
Yeah, and some people might be like he hasn't broke out yet. The only reason he hasn't broke out yet is because of injuries, right? He's been awesome on a per target basis. Touchdowns have been great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ding him for age necessarily. I'm not going to put him up there with Rome, Brian Thomas, but talent is undeniable.
I mean,
I want to put 8 here. I really want to put 8 here because
I'm not going to argue with that. The age is in that prime wide receiver age range. His athleticism is, his workout metrics, athleticism, agility is a little low. Everything else is in the 90s in terms of percentile. I think 8 is very fair.
All right. Volume / target share. So this is a kind of a 2-part conversation because what they were doing in Green Bay with the hockey lines, with all those receivers, even giving Bo Melton snaps as the wide receiver 5, and what they're going to do this year, what we think they're going to do this year, losing Wicks, losing Dubs, like this should be higher than we think for Christian Watson just based on the environment and just what they have there. But I'm not going to just automatically assume he's a 120 target player because I don't know if that's possible. I'm thinking 6. I think we want to give him the benefit of the doubt. 5 would be fair here, but I think 6 makes sense.
Yeah. Do you think you think that he will be the number 1 target for the Packers this year?
By a mile, dude. I think he's an alpha.
20% target share last year. On only 69%, a very nice 69% of the snaps. I think that can go up. I think a 6 or a 7 seems pretty reasonable. Because it's still a run first team.
Well, if they can, but Josh Jacobs is already hurt. You have the suspension stuff. Marshawn Lloyd's the backup. Like, dude, the running back room is gross.
Marshawn Lloyd is the second coming of Jesus, according to Packers beat writers.
100%. We have efficiency. Now, this needs to be really high. Like, as much as we want it, we're pretty much extrapolating what we think and what's going to change there with the volume. The efficiency has always been there, especially the touchdown efficiency, but yards per catch, everything is amazing for this. So I want to go 8 for this, just because I'm thinking it might tick down because with with the volume increase might hurt his efficiency, right?
That's fair. Yeah, because he 2.65 yards per route run last year. That's near elite levels. But as we know, as volume goes up, efficiency tends to decrease. So I think eight's good. Good call.
Cameron is now a member of the YouTube program. Professional. Appreciate you, Cameron. I'm going to reach out and get you in the Discord, man. I still have your email, I think. Yeah, I think I still have your email. I'll reach out, get you in the community. Appreciate that. I'm going to get a beer chug going for that alone. Let's get back to the list here. So we're going to go 8 here for efficiency. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, and then touchdown upside has to be really high as well. I mean, this isn't the best offense in the world, but he's scored 7 touchdowns multiple times. He's been hurt most of those years with it. 66 targets is the most he's ever had. He's scoring fucking 7 touchdowns. He still has, I don't know if they're going to use him in the run game, the end around stuff around the goal line. They've done that before multiple years. That could help. Josh Jacobs getting older. Like, this is Christian Watson's time. I want to go 8 for this.
I think that's high. To be fair, he played 15 games in 2024, one of which was injury shortened. He only scored 2 touchdowns that year. So target concentration has decreased, but I just don't know. This is not an Aaron Rodgers-led offense, Green Bay offense, where they love throwing around the red zone. They love Josh Jacobs. Assuming Josh Jacobs is healthy and not in jail, then I think that they're really going to run the ball quite a bit. He only had 6 red zone targets last year in 10 games. I think you're too high with an 8. I think it's 6.
7?
I think I would go 5 or 6.
Well, if you go 6, I go 8. We go 7.
Fair enough.
That's the exercise. And then offensive environment. Maybe I'll meet you down on this one because I'm pretty high in the Packers offense this year, specifically because I'm pretty low in their defense with the Micah Parsons questions, those kind of things. But I want to go. Let's see. We had 4 for Marv, 7. We had some good offenses though. We've had the Jags and Bears. We had them at 7. So is this a 5 or a 6?
I think 6. It is. Jordan Love's been pretty efficient on the field. LaFleur is not the worst coach in the league. I think 4 is way too aggressive for the Cardinals. But I will certainly give you the 6. What do we say? I think, what did I say? 6? Maybe 7 for the Packers.
We'll go 7. We'll go 7 because we like Jordan Love. That is a 37 for Christian Watson, 8-7, 8-7-7.
Yeah.
And just so you know, to defend my Marv 4 for our offensive environment, we have to factor in the defenses of some of these teams.
Yeah, okay. You know what? You're talking garbage time. That's what you're beating around the bush, but you're talking garbage time.
Yeah, a little bit. And
garbage performance to get to garbage time.
Put it this way: if Micah Parsons ever had that knee injury last year, and we're talking about Christian Watson in this offensive environment, I would probably rate this a 6. If we had a full Micah Parsons this year, that would affect the amount of passes they throw, the amount of shootout games they're in. So that's why Marv's at a 4 for the offensive.
We're not talking about Marv anymore. We're moving.
Yeah, I want to talk about Marv. I want to talk about Marv, and I want to fucking talk to Samson. Okay, there's 2 things I want to do, and that's both of them.
I want to talk to Samson. Climbing to the moon like that bitch Alice Cram.
All right, so 37 for Christian Watson. Let's recap the guys we did. I'm going to hit you guys with the intro. But we've done Marvin Harrison, Brian Thomas, Rome Odunze, Parker Washington, and Christian Watson. Again, all 5 of these categories have a 10-point max, so 50 is perfect. Obviously, we're in the 5th round right now. None of these guys are going to sniff 50 because that's like Jamar Chase shit. But 29 for Marv, 28 for Brian Thomas, 36 for Rome, 31 for Parker Washington, and 37 for Christian Watson. So Rome Odunze and Christian Watson look really good. The next 3 names we're going to have are the finishing out the 5th round: DJ Moore, Jamison Williams, and Devontae Adams. I have a feeling Rome and Watson will be higher than all these guys, which is interesting because they go later. And excited about the list and this new segment we came up with running backs and wide receivers. Hopefully we do this for the next 20 years. So hopefully we're still doing this 20 years from now, Storey. Your hair is going to be terrible at that point.
No way, dude. I've had this same hairline since middle school. It's not going anywhere.
Well, it's not going to be the same color unless you're going to use just for men.
Just for men. That's fine. I don't give a shit about that.
All right. Okay. I'm going to hit you guys with the intro. We'll be back in 28 seconds. I fucked up that intro. That was supposed to be Jaden Daniels on the thing instead of Chaz's dream guy, because there's a lot of Jaden Daniels stuff with his mom. Cameron says, again, shout out to Cameron. Appreciate you, man. Christian Watson has been nothing but phenomenal when he's in the field. That's a big if. It was a big if, but they figured out the hamstring thing in the sports science lab, which, he came back and looked pretty good last year. Remember that giant hit he took in the Broncos game? We thought he was going to miss like 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different kind of injury. That was like a shoulder injury, clavicle, something like that. But he came back. It's the only question for Christian Watson with his ADP, wide receiver 28, is health. And those are the guys I want to bet on. That was the Chris Olave thing last year. It was like, well, the offense has some questions. And Chris Olave was always remember the year he's a first round pick, like end of the first round in PPR. And then he was always like second, 2-3 turn. And like, those are the guys who want to invest in. If the only question is injuries, yeah, in the first round, I'm hesitant. In the second round, I'm hesitant. This is not that. This is the 6th round. This is the 5th round. Like, you can replace this dude. And we know we're getting at least a top 24 guy. Would you say top 24, like his worst case scenario for Christian Watson?
Yeah, well, we have to assume that target share is concentrated because of Wicks and Dobbs leaving. That still leaves question marks surrounding this offense as a passing team and Jordan Love's efficiency versus them as a running team and Matt LaFleur's tendencies. So I agree. I think that's perfectly put. Nothing short of phenomenal went on the field, but let's not beat around the bush. His max touchdowns in a season is 7. Okay, that's fine. His max receiving yards in a season is like 640 or 680 or something around those. So talent is not the question because that came on
max targets.
Talent's not the question because it came on 10 games last year. Is he past the injury bugaboo? That's the big question.
His most target, he's never hit 70 targets though. So the fact he has multiple 7 touchdown years, like it's extrapolating, and it's kind of, I don't even think it's hopium. I think that this is the type of player we want to target. If you want to go for a league winning player, he goes after Parker Washington, the same range as Parker Washington. Like, give me an alpha tied to Jordan Love, who has yet to have that, breakout season. And I'm not saying he will, but Jordan Love is a very talented player that's just very streaky. He's never put it all together for an entire year. And I'm going to bet on that. I'm going to bet. I as much as we rip on the floor for his stupidity in the playoffs, which is apparent, he knows how to run an offense, right? He knows how to run a fucking offense.
Yeah, I agree. He is a great regular season. I shouldn't say that. He's a fine regular season coach.
Cameron, we're in agreement, man. We all love Christian Watson. I think Storey is coming around on Christian Watson, and I have a feeling he might be a PP of mine. So I take a lot of Matthew Golden in best ball because the price, and I'm at like 12% on Christian Watson, which is still pretty heavy. But he's the kind of guy I want to redraft because I can't replace him in best ball. I can replace him in redraft, and I'm not worried about the injury. Again, if this was a 4th round pick where I think he should be going, like, I don't understand why he's not getting hyped up like Parker Washington is, right? Like the runway is there and the talent is there. We just never seen him put it together. This is the time we want to buy in on Christian Watson. So maybe he's going to be a PP of both of our list, Story. We're both going to have a Packer.
Maybe. Doubt it. I hate the Packers. As a Bears fan, I am morally obligated to hate the Packers.
See, I'm not too scared of them. Here's a beer chug for Cameron. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a race for him. And I always win because it's against myself.
Here you go.
What people don't know is that video is slowed down to 0.75 speed.
It's really fast in the video, too. Story, I want to chug a beer against you and see how you do.
I can't chug a beer, dude. I haven't chugged a beer in like 10 years.
All right, well, when we hit 5,000 subs, I'm going to make you fucking chug a beer on the stream.
Don't make me get too blitzed at our draft next weekend. I got to be sharp. I'm going to take Christian Watson in the 4th round.
Nick O's driving me to the draft, so I'm going to get hammered. And then I have a show to do later that night, so it'll be great. It's this weekend, It's this weekend. It's not next weekend. Story.
Oh, shit. I better check. Better figure that out.
So now you could go, right? Now you could go if it's this weekend.
No, I knew it was this weekend. I'm being facetious.
Oh, okay. Fishy, nice word. What's up, McAuliffe? He says last year, he changed his name to the General McAuliffe. Last year, Watson had his first double-digit target game. Also never played a full year. But, dude, his first double-digit target game last year, it's insane. more TDs than Flowers last year says something. We'll say Flowers is allergic to the end zone, but we're all about Watson. By the way, I do have a shout out to give also, to Cameron who just signed up for the YouTube. I sound like an old man. The YouTube membership. And then to McAuliffe, who is now officially in the Patreon. Appreciate you. See McAuliffe right there in the professional tier. You're the man. We also have Shamrock, who was gifted a 1-month membership. Hopefully he continues on for that after that, but I have him on the list. And then Sam T, who is a buddy of Connor. So we're building some people here. Appreciate everybody who is supporting the show, supporting us, keeping us going. Here is Helen Hunt, just for Shamrock. I don't think he's in here, but she looks like a fucking news lady here, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's a very specific look that she's got going. Is that like a tie? Is that like a Harry Potter tie? What's going on?
No idea what the hell is going on here with Helen Hunt, but looks very plastic, unfortunately. Helen, you're a beautiful woman. You don't need to do this. Don't do this.
How old is Helen Hunt?
62. That's my guess. What is she?
63.
Hey, dude, I'm right on with my guesses. I guessed Parker Washington's exact target number, which is pretty wild. I didn't have that in front of me. And then I guessed I should know Helen Hunt's age because I'm obsessed with her. But
I had a buddy in the early 2000s who was obsessed, like literally obsessed with Helen Hunt.
You know what? Pretty prominent roles, man.
You ever see her in As Good as It Gets?
Yeah, solid.
Yeah.
I prefer her in not in Castaway, but Twister. Come on, Twister. Helen Hunt's the best. Cameron says I think all 3 wide receivers will produce in Green Bay. Too good of an offense and too good of an offensive coach in LaFleur. But it's also hard taking Green Bay / Chicago guys because historically you always battle the shitty wins. Yeah, the issue there is definitely weather, but Jordan Love is a strong arm quarterback, and Christian Watson is a guy that do get the ball in his hands here and there in the short yardage stuff, which is. He's a gazelle, man, and he's bulked up a lot. But the numbers board were pretty obvious. 37. He's the highest guy on the list so far. Let's get back to the exercise. What do you got, Storey?
You hear the report about the Bears today?
That they're not changing the name?
I heard that they were expected by the end of the week to have a deal inked with the state of Indiana to move the team and change the name.
Yeah. No, they said they just came out today, so they're not changing the name. So
okay.
They're not going to change the name, but they're probably going to go to Indiana. Ray's having a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get back to the list. Next name we have here is DJ Moore. So this is another 5th-round receiver. DJ Moore is up there in age. His age isn't as old as he's an experienced player. He was a 20-year-old rookie. So DJ Moore's 29. Is that right?
Yeah. 29.2.
Talent's always been a pretty big DJ Moore fan, but we can't have him up there with these other guys that we have 8s for. So is this a 6 for DJ Moore? Or you want to go 5?
God, I mean, we forget that he was a highly touted, highly drafted player coming out. He was, he dominated when he was at Maryland. His athleticism scores were pretty darn good in the high 80s, but he's now 29 years old. He's definitely lost a step. He's still got the size, still got the frame to be an alpha, at least in this league's alpha. But talent, I think, has dropped off. I think let's go with a 5. We saw a pretty big regression last year.
5 is fair. Volume and target share. So we've seen 2 iterations of this offense. There was the Stephon Diggs era when he was a target hog, and this is also Stephon Diggs, but DJ Moore's similar player, poor man Stephon Diggs. And then we've seen the back half of Diggs' career there in Buffalo, and then since, maybe that's because they don't have an alpha there, but it's been Josh Allen playing point guard, spreading the ball around, not really having any guy over 100 targets. Not going to be a very lucrative target role. He's never going to have 130 targets. So what do you have for this? The target share will probably be better than the volume.
I don't know how to approach this because do the Bills really care about feeding a guy, or are they just comfortable with rotating through like they've done year in and year out and let Khalil Shakir get his slot snaps, like Keon Coleman have a game here and there? Last year, DJ Moore took a big step back, 16% target share, 15.7% target rate, but his route participation was still really high, which tells me that he hasn't really lost, that stamina, that whatever that you would expect from a receiver his age. So he certainly could be out there on 85% of the snaps. So I want to say that they didn't sign him to let him ride the bench. So I'm going to go with a 7.
Ooh. All right. I was going to say 6. I'll give you 7 for DJ Moore. This is I love DJ Moore. Efficiency. So he's tied to Josh Allen. That's pretty nice. Last year was not efficient at all.
No.
And the negative is Caleb Williams and Josh Allen have some overlapping skill sets, right? They're not on-time passers. They want to do the scramble drill. So is this a low number for you?
This is probably like I don't want to ding him too much because Caleb Williams was pretty inaccurate last year. He also made some really weird boneheaded decisions at certain points. So, but his efficiency numbers are nothing to write home about. 1.26 yards per run last year. I think you got to go with a 5.
That's what I was thinking. 5 is fair. Could bump it up to 6, but again, Josh Allen he offers so much more than just the passing, right? Like we don't love Josh Allen because he's Drew Brees. So 5 is fair for DJ Moore. And then touchdown upside. So never been a big touchdown merchant. Nice year with Justin Fields, but we're pretty much guaranteed 26 to 30 passing touchdowns from Josh Allen.
That's just it. And
who else is Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Keon Coleman, Shakir is going to get 4. James Cook will have a couple, like Ty Johnson.
Okay, James Cook will have a couple. Ty Johnson might have 1 receiving touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, I'll give you, but Dawson Knox is not part of this offensive game plan any longer. Keon Coleman, I don't know. I think there's a ton of touchdown upside here. I think realistically, who else are they going to go to in the red zone? He had 11 red zone targets.
Tight ends and Josh Allen with his feet. I mean, the thing is, he still throws for 27 or 28 touchdowns, and he runs for 14 because he's going to have 40 total. And, there's an argument to be made that Josh Allen won't be running as much because he is getting up there in age. Every year he's hurt at the end of the year because of the running. But we say it every year, Storey. He keeps on having 13 touchdowns on the ground. I'm thinking 6 for this to give him because I don't love the player archetype touchdowns. Is 6 fair?
Push it to a 7 because he will be the number 1 target there. In no doubt about it, he'll be the number 1 target. And so red zone looks will follow.
And then offensive environment, this has to be high. We had a 7 for Brian Thomas, for the Bears, the Jags, and the Packers. There's no way it's lower than the Packers number.
I mean, 8 or 9.
I feel like one of the 7s should not be a 7. So we'll go 8 for this. You know what? I'm moving the touchdown upside to 6, and then we're gonna go 9. We're gonna go 9 on the offensive environment. That's a nice little even split. So we have 32 for DJ Moore. Seems about fair, right? 32. Yeah. We had 31 for Parker Washington, 28 for Brian Thomas, 29 for Marv. That's a pretty fair number. All right, next guy here, Jameson Williams.
The offensive environment is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. It seems unlikely that DJ Moore will be a league-winning wide receiver, but
that's why I was a little bit weird with the number coming out pretty high. But tied to Josh Allen, we still like the player. Jameson Williams. This one's gonna be very interesting because this might be all over the map because talent and breakout age. He has that. He's also terrible but great at the same time. You can make arguments that he's a great receiver because what he does with the ball. When the ball is in his hands, when he actually catches the ball, doesn't step out of bounds or drop it, he's elite. But he's a knucklehead that has not really leveled up, right, in terms of player. Like, he's still dropping fucking balls, and he's still not tracking the ball over his shoulder. What are you going to do with this one? Talent and breakout age, because the breakout age is there. He's prime for a breakout from an age standpoint. And guy's got the juice, just doesn't have any hands.
Yeah, I mean, God, did you ever watch his film when he was at Alabama and even at Ohio State?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
college though,
incredible. Now he got hurt in the national championship, I believe, and I think that stunted his development within the league a little bit. But realistically, like it's tough to deny the talent coming out, the athleticism. Doesn't have the true frame that I'd love to see. I mean, that's more of like a downfield guy kind of frame. So I'm gonna go. I mean, he's only 25. I think at 8 is reasonable.
That's fair. Along the lines of Marv, Brian Thomas, Watson, we'll go 8 for JMO. We love the player. Now, we don't love this. The volume and target share, it definitely ticked up last year. Even when St. Brown came back, he missed that one game, essentially it was the first quarter he got hurt. And then since then, there was a little different. Mix that with Dan Campbell calling the plays. But Sam Laporta's back now. St. Brown's the one there. This is probably a 5. Would you agree for JMO? Because there's a lot of volume to go around. There is a lot of passing volume.
He cracked 100 targets last year. So you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot to go around. He cracked 100 targets, but still only an 18% target share and a 17% target rate. plays a lot of snaps. He runs a lot of routes. He's out there a lot, but he doesn't get the ball a ton. So what did you say, a 5?
Yeah, average, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Efficiency. This should be higher because what he does, yards per catch, everything there is elite, and the offense is efficient as well. So this should probably be pretty high.
I would think though a 7. His yards per route run is under 2. It's 1.91. Yards per target 11.5 though. I mean that's pretty darn good right there. Yards per reception 17.2. So what did I say?
You said 7. I think we should go 6.
Okay. Yeah, 6 seems good.
6 is good. Okay, touchdown upside. So again, they don't use him. I mean, he does have the 1 or 2 end arounds that he could take to the house each year, which I do love. And again, tied to an offense is going to score a lot of touchdowns, but they don't really target him in the red zone. So he scores a lot of touchdowns from 20, 30, 40, 50 yards out, which we have to factor in here as well. But St. Brown and Laporta and Gibbs are really the show in the red zone. Dude,
he had a 10% red zone target share last year, which was number 77 in the league. So
how many TDs did he score last year? 6?
7. So, yeah, because he's number 3 in the league in deep target share. So eventually, like, you keep throwing the ball deep enough, he's going to break one off. We've seen it plenty of times. So the upside, I think, man, I would love to say it exists, but you cannot, like that. The deep target share is just not a sticky stat, realistically. It could be for him because of the first type player. I don't know, 6 maybe.
And let's also factor in Laporta missed most of last year. So like that was why he scored 7. So I think I was going to go 5, but since he's tied to the Lions and Jared Goff, who knows? Maybe there's another injury as well. And it is a team we want to invest in. 6 sounds pretty fair for a player that doesn't, have that role, but dig it down because the red zone stuff, but put it up 1 just based on the fact that it's the Lions and they're going to score. Jared Goff's going to have 33 touchdown passes. It happens every single year. Probably going to happen again. Maybe more this year because they have no fucking secondary. Offensive environment, we had a 9 for the Bills. This is probably a 9 as well, right?
Yeah, I won't argue with there whatsoever. Yeah.
All right, so we have 8, 5, 6, 6, 9 for JMO. That is 20. That is 34 for Jamison Williams. Again, he goes higher than these guys. These, as we go down the list, they should score higher because this is reverse order in terms of ADP. And now we get to a dinosaur here in Davante Adams. And are you concerned at all that he has a Taco Bell in his fucking living room?
Is that true?
That's not good.
Is that real, or is that just like some sponsorship deal?
I don't think it's real, but I'm sure he gets all the Taco Bell he can eat, even though it shouldn't matter because these guys can buy all the fast food they fucking want.
I know Taco Bell's bad for you, but it's so good. Like they have absolutely dialed it in. It's so good. Anyway, what was the question?
It's okay. Davante Adams. That's not the question. If we're on Davante Adams, so talent and breakout age, he's still elite at getting off the line, right? His first step is still elite, especially running fades in the red zone and the goal line. But he's 34. I mean, you got to ding him for that. There's a chance the age cliff has come for him, and it's not great. 750 yards receiving last year with all those touchdowns. Like, this is gross. Matt Stafford threw 46 touchdowns last year. That's definitely not happening again with this defense. Might go back to 30 touchdowns. I want to go like 5 for Devon. We had a 5 for Parker Washington. Like it should be higher if we didn't factor in age. I think 5 or 4 is fair for you. He's old as hell, dude.
He's old. He's 30. He's almost 34. He had 14 receiving touchdowns. Receiving touchdowns aren't particularly sticky. Assuming the Rams regress, which I think they're the most obvious candidate to regress in terms of passing touchdowns. He's not getting 14 touchdowns again. I think 5 is fine. He's been dinged up the last 2 years. He's missed 3 games the last 2 years in a row.
Yeah, soft tissue stuff. So 5 for talent / breakout age, volume and target share for Davante Adams. So this is it's the targets we want. It's down the field and it's in the red zone. But Puka is a monster and the number 1 target earner in the NFL. This is probably not a great number either, right?
So there's a couple of things there. Puka doesn't play as many snaps as Davante Adams does. Believe it or not, Puka comes off the field far more than I think people realize. Also, Puka is dealing with a bit of an injury. Also, Puka might be in some legal trouble to start the year. He might get a suspension for a game or 2. Adams had a 25% target share last year, a 28% target rate, played 72% of the snaps. Nobody else catches the ball there. They're going to rotate through a few tight ends. Kyron catches a few balls here and there, but realistically, it's Puka and it's Adams and Devontae Adams, and that's just it. There's just nothing after the catch for Adams anymore. That's why his yardage is so low.
I'm going to push back a little bit. I understand last year he was the one playing in 13 personnel. He was the one playing every snap in 12 personnel. I think they're going to switch this up this year. I think they saw, they're not worried about missing the playoffs. They need Adams for the playoffs. Last year he came back. He was clearly still hurt from that hammy. I think that I know they want to kind of save Puka from himself because he's a madman out there. And if you play him on running snaps, he's going to fucking run into someone with his head. But they should be switched. This should be Puka on the field more than Devontae Adams, or they Mumfield or some other bum out there. So what did you have for a number for this one?
What are we on? Efficiency, right?
No, volume.
No, volume. 6.
I'll go 6. I'll give you a 6. I think it should be 5. We'll go 6. Efficiency. Now, on one end, the touchdown efficiency is really high. On the other end, the yards per catch is really low. At least per target's pretty low. So it's tied to Matt Stafford. It is still Devontae Adams, a Hall of Famer, but he's old. Is this also a 6?
I can't get that high. Yards after the catch last year, total 117. That was number 73 in the league. Out of qualified.
Also, his catch rate was really low too because he was working down the field. God. We'll go 5. Let's go 5.
5. Yeah, 5. 5 sounds good. 6.
All right.
60 catches last year.
Touchdown upside, we got to go 10. I mean, it's not to Adams. He averaged a touchdown a game last year. And
14 touchdowns last year, yeah.
That's what he's done for his whole career.
Yeah.
All right. 10 for Devontae Adams here. And then offensive environment, I think we're going to go 9. It's the Rams.
It is, but I have to go 8 just purely on the offensive efficiency regression this year.
Okay.
They can't
That's fair.
possibly, when we're talking offensive environment, they can't possibly throw for as many touchdowns as they did last year.
That is fair. So we have 5, 6, 5, 10, 8 for Devontae Adams. That is 23 and 11. That's 34. Same as JMO. It's actually pretty high. I mean, it's also tied to the Rams. I don't like that number. I feel like that's
I don't
too
like that
high.
number either. All of a sudden, these old guys, DJ Moore and Devontae Adams are high in our rankings.
But we got to bet on good teams, and that is part of this thing for these receivers, right? Like volume can only carry you so far. Where we want, especially if it's in half PPR, like you want guys that are scoring touchdowns. You want those high value looks, and those guys are going to get them. And the risk is higher for Adams because of the injury stuff and the age, but this isn't factoring in that too much. So we still like the talent. That's fair. Also, Adams goes higher than these other guys. So him being 34 and Rome being 36, like give me Rome all day because Rome goes, 10 picks after Devontae Adams.
No, that's fair. That's fair. At the same time, I don't know that Rome could possibly score as many touchdowns as Devontae Adams.
That's why it's here. And I think this is, it's not a perfect science. It's our first year doing this. And I think we can make some adjustments in the future, but this is, I think, the best we can come up with. It's never going to be perfect, but we could add like 3 categories to this, right? We don't want to do 8 categories. Next name, our boy, Scary Terry McLaurin, 31 years old, Storey. But unlike these other guys, Terry McLaurin, if you take away the 1 year, last year when he held out, that's why he got hurt. He's been amazingly healthy. And love the player. I don't see a dip. I didn't see a dip last year. The metrics didn't bear that out, even without Jaden Daniels. I want to go pretty high here for Terry McLaurin. What do you have?
I mean, he is older, though, 30.8 as we speak. So he's almost 30. He'll be 31 sometime during the season. Talent, you mentioned that talent's good, but he did miss 10 games last year. His yards per reception, 15.4. He's been remarkably consistent. It did tick up last year. Talent-wise, the athleticism scores are all pretty decent, but he only had a 9% college target share. So I'd love to go higher, but I think 7 is as high as I can go.
Yeah, with the age for sure. I'll go 7. That's fair.
Yeah.
Volume and target share. Now, he's never been a massive target guy. It's been, typically 120, 125, 118. But that's a pretty nice floor, and this defense still blows. They're going to be Jaden Daniels going to be airing the ball out. Yeah, he's going to take some shit on the ground, but I think it's a 7 as well.
Yeah, man, 23% target share. I'm looking at 24 numbers because I want to throw out a bit of last year for him. 23% target share last year, 21% target share in 23, 23% target share last year. I don't know that with signing Diggs, I don't know that he can crack into that 28% target share that we'd love to see. I really think that this is like a 6.
Well, we had a 7 for DJ Moore. Dude, McLaurin's gonna have more targets than DJ Moore, right? Same.
Diggs, man. Diggs makes a huge difference there. And Chigaquanquo and Antonio Williams, the rookie there. There's a lot more target competition. Rashad White, there's a lot more target competition in Washington than there is in
Rashad White.
Buffalo.
Jesus.
You saying he's not?
I disagree, but we'll go 6. I disagree. Efficiency, this has to be relatively high. I mean, there's a chance they use him different. They said they want to use him a little bit more creatively this year. They should. They have to.
Well, they didn't say creatively. They said they want to force feed him the ball, 10 targets per game.
There you go. So what do you have for efficiency? Are you going to ding Terry McLaurin here on the fucking program?
No. Shit. The efficiency's been very good. 2.3 yards per run last year, 9.7 yards per target, 15.3 yards per reception, all top 15 numbers, top 10 in the yards per reception. 8 for efficiency. I think he's pretty decent.
8. You know what? McAuliffe has a good point here. He hates to be a grammar Nazi, and I did misspell McLaurin. You know, I do all this myself, guys. I have no
McLaurin.
I have no guy to do
well,
this.
You be the grammar Nazi that we need. Because words matter. Grammar matters. I don't care what people say.
They do. And I did it properly with the L, the M and L capital. I did all that stuff right. I didn't have the IN. Okay, so
EN?
we have EN. So we had an 8 for efficiency, touchdown upside. So it's been a tale of, it's mostly just the 1 year of 13 touchdowns. Every other year is like 5 or 6 or 4. But
right.
Jaden Daniels healthy. I think a 7 is fair here.
I think you're too aggressive, dude. 7 red
6?
zone targets last year, number 64.
The offense was broken, man. The offense was broken last year.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's a fair. Let's go to 24. Just take a look. 15 red zone targets. Actually, yeah, okay, number 18. Yeah, deep targets, 7 in the league. I think I was going to go with a 5, but I think based on the fact that Larry Tunsil does affect things here.
Dude, we gave Parker Washington a fucking 6.
Big difference in those offenses. Big difference, I think, in those offenses. All right,
I think 7's fair. 7 is fair.
I would say 6, but if you want to go 7, I can be talking.
I'm going 7. Offensive environment. Now, this can be a little lower. I'm fine with lower on this one.
Yeah. Let me look something up here.
I'm thinking 6 or 5 is probably best for Terry.
I mean, okay, Diggs, obviously that's good, but Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, Treylon Burks, Timmy Brown, Van Jefferson, Antonio Williams, there's not a lot of depth here. They could be in a lot of trouble if one of those top 2 guys gets hurt. I don't know. Is there a more important position than left tackle? Losing Tunsil hurts them significantly. I think 5 tops.
5 tops. Okay, I'm not going to go higher then. So we'll go 5 for McLaurin. That's 13 and Fitz 28. That's 33 for McLaurin. I just can't get on board with Adams being higher than McLaurin, though. I understand we're maybe factoring the offense a little too much, but I mean, Terry McLaurin's the true number 1 there. And I'm not, apparently you're fucking scared to death of Stephon Diggs. What are you doing, man?
Dude, if Diggs did not sign there and they went into the season with the wide receiver room they had, I would be Terry McLaurin to the moon. 2 weeks ago, I absolutely love where Terry McLaurin was going. I think he's going too high. You cannot underestimate what a 1,000-yard receiver does to that receiving room. It changes things significantly.
I see the opposite, man. I think that without Diggs, it would be a DK Metcalf situation we saw with Pittsburgh last year. It'd be double teams all day on McLaurin. Now McLaurin can have some single coverage.
Big difference, though, is DK Metcalf sucks. At least at this point in his career, he's pretty terrible. So Metcalf does not hold a candle to Terry McLaurin, if you ask me. So
yeah, in terms of instincts and stuff like that, football IQ and understanding how to beat zone coverage.
I need to temper my expectations for the Commanders' offense because number 1, the offense was broken last year. I'm not sure that they've done much to fix it, other than bringing Stephon Diggs, which is just target competition for Terry McLaurin. And Larry Tunsil just went down, and their running back room is just a who's who of nobodies.
Cameron says Storey is pessimistic, but he's wise in his many takes. He's definitely pessimistic. You know what?
Trying to poke holes. I am a tough grader. I will say that. I am a very tough grader. So
I would love to see your grades on the best ball streets when we do these teams. Every team would be like a D.
Dude, I mean, what did we just grade not that long ago? Oh, we graded the dynasty draft.
Oh, yeah. You were really, really hard on those dynasty grades.
Right.
Oh my God, this place is amazing! Yeah. All right, and the sunblock drink? Nice, guys.
They're really good. They're really good.
Yeah.
Thing is, I didn't make you one.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Charlie, you're drinking sunblock. It's good. It gets you all. Yeah, you're ingesting viscous chemicals, and they're getting you hot. It doesn't matter.
All right. We got to move on to the next name here. We're about halfway through the list. Making a little better time than we did on the running back show. Mike Evans. Speaking of dinosaurs, Mike Evans, Mr. 1,000 yards, talent and breakout age. You know, we had a 5 for Adams. Is this fair to go 5 for Mike Evans? Because he looked pretty good on the field last year.
He did look good on the field. The problem, obviously, is the issues with the injury. The fact that he's already had an injury. Now he's back at practice, so that's good news. But the fact that he's already had an injury at camp and the fact that he's 33 years old, I mean, again, this guy started his career with more 1,000-yard seasons than anybody in history. But right now, at this point in his career, you know, he'll be 33 when the season starts. I think 5.
We'll go 5 for Evans. That is fair. Volume and target share. I don't know if you saw Stribling balling out in the preseason game today. It looked great. And get ready to have to draft. Get ready to have. He had 6 catches, I think, and a couple monster catches.
Game?
Yeah. Get ready to, if you want Stribling, get ready to have to draft him in like the 8th round, 7th round now, which I'm not going to get on board with. We're on Mike Evans. We just traded for Mike Evans in Dynasty. We're in a win now situation.
7 for 63.
This is, you know, Brock Purdy's aggressive. Yeah, dude, 7 for 63. So I like the situation for Mike Evans. You know, Stribling, if anything, helps Mike Evans. Like, if Mike Evans is still the one there. No Ricky P. First half of the year, you're going to have George Kittle, still a little labored. Is this like a 7 for Mike Evans in this offense?
Yeah. I mean, again, no Ricky P. George Kittle may or may not be there to start the season, but he will be slowed down because of the injury, at least to start. Tunges is a fine replacement. McCaffrey's going to get his through the air. Stribling is still a rookie. And what else do they have there? Who else do they have catching the ball? So I think
Christian Kirk.
Oh, yeah, Christian Kirk. I forgot about him. I just think out of pure necessity alone, Evans is just going to get – so I'm fine with that.
So a 7 for volume, efficiency, you know, tied to Shanahan. He's always been a pretty efficient player, specifically in the red zone. I'm thinking we had a 5 for Adams. This is better than that. This is probably another 7, right?
Yeah, I mean, you take out last year, and last year you can chalk up due to a number of factors, including his injury. But the previous 3 years, he was over, except for 22, it was just under over 2.3 yards per route run. So the efficiency should bounce back. He's always been a pretty efficient player. He's never been huge after the catch, realistically. He's been just really good with air yards, right? So I do like the opportunity that he has. Can the age and the efficiency match up? I think he's the oldest guy that we're talking about, believe it or not.
No, Adams is 1 year older.
Is he? Okay. So, God, assuming it bounces back, I think it's, what'd you say, a 6?
6 or a 7. I mean, we gave Adams a 5, but like we haven't really seen the drop off for Mike Evans yet. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen, but 6 is 6 or 7. I think 6 or 7.
Yeah, I flip a coin there. I'd go right down the middle.
Let's go 6, and then we'll maybe give him a benefit of the doubt on one of these next ones. So touchdown upside, we gave 10 to Adams. This is probably a 9. It's Mike Evans. It's Kyle Shanahan. Their defense isn't great, and it's just 10 touchdown upside, right?
Yeah, I'm not.
That's like minimum.
I'm not ready to give it a 9. I think 8 is reasonable because they do utilize George Kittle a lot in the red zone, and they utilize Christian McCaffrey a ton in the red zone, both running and receiving. So I think an 8 is fair.
It's fair. And then offensive environment, this should also be very high. I want to go 8 for this one as well.
Yeah.
A little higher than the Jags.
Yeah. It's Shanahan. It's Brock Purdy's a great quarterback. I'm not gonna doubt not the Cardinals.
Don't doubt the Cardinals, dude.
I'm not gonna doubt the 49ers until proven otherwise.
All right, for Evans, we have a 5, 7, 6, 8, 8 for these categories. That's 34. So same as Devontae Adams. That makes a lot of sense. Let's move on to a young player here, Luther Burden. And I wish we had Ray on for this segment. He would give him 10s across the fucking board. I should actually change the graphic to Antonio Brown in reality. But Luther Burden, everyone's darling until the injury. I think that people still love him. So talent on breakout age should be pretty high here for Luther Burden. We had an 8 for Roma Dunze. Are you willing to go there for Luther with the film you saw last year?
Yeah, I mean, you throw out that final year of Missouri. The year before was the thing dreams are made of, something to behold. He's a young guy. He'll be 23 midway through the season. Both his speed score and his other athleticism metrics are in the high 80s. And then we saw what he did on the field. He passed the eye test. So I think 8 is a very, 8's good.
Okay, guys, we're going to get to every comment after we get through this list. We have about 8 more names, so just hang tight. If you need something answered, just drop a $2 super, and we'll get to it right away. I want to power through this list. 8 is cool with Luther Burden for talent and age, super young player. Volume and target share. Now, we had a 7 for Roma Dunze. I'm thinking 6 for this.
We have to project that he plays more because he only played, 39% of the snaps last year, something like that. They really slow played him. Route participation was only 45%. 6 volume target share. Yeah, I mean target share was 13% last year. It's going to go, well, I don't know, man. I think 7.
No, it's going to go up, but I'm not going to – you're going to put it the same as Roma Dunze, who's going to be their starting X receiver. You know what I mean?
We assume he's going to be – we know he's going to be starting X receiver, but, I mean, who else is playing in 2 wide receiver sets? I guess, I mean, they're probably going to play more 12 personnel because they did draft, what's his name, out of Stanford, Sam Roush. No, I think 7.
I can go 7. 7. We'll tie him with Rome. 7 is fair here. And then efficiency. So we had a 6 for Rome. I almost want to go 7 for Luther Burden.
Oh, dude, 9.
8, 9?
Yeah.
In the offense?
It's, 2.79 yards per route run last year.
Dude, it's a small sample. It's a small sample. We'll go 8. I'll go fucking 8. I'm not going 9 for Luther Burden. Get the fuck out of here. We'll go 8. 8's fair. Still too high. But touchdown upside. Now, we had an 8 for Rome. This definitely is lower. He's not that archetype of player. You know, he's better with the ball in his hands than what Rome is, but Rome is going to command those red zone targets. I don't think Luther Burden does. I think he's 3rd in the pecking order behind Colson Loveland and Roma Dunze. So I want to go like 5 or 6 here.
Man, we really okay.
What are you going to say, 9 for this too?
No, I'm not going to say 9, but he doesn't play deep very much. I think it's going to be more so Roma Dunze's area. So I don't know. Would you say 5 or 6?
I think 6 is fair. Let's go 6. He's tied to Caleb and Ben Johnson.
Okay, fine.
You love Luther Burden. Offensive environment. We gave Roma Dunze a 7 for this category, so we'll probably go 7 as well for Luther Burden. We have to.
Yeah.
We can't just change it up. We got to be consistent. 8-7, 8-6-7 is the score for Luther Burden. That is 15 and that's 20. That's 36. Luther Burden is right behind Christian Watson and tied with Roma Dunze. So they had the same Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. That makes a lot of sense. This is why I love taking Roma Dunze though, because he goes so much later, or he was going so much later in the best ball streets, and they should be going back to back. I think we both that's nice that it came out like that because we both agree that we do prefer Burden based on the higher upside, but we would take them back to back. That's not how they've been being drafted and ranked.
Fair. I think that's about right. I mean, there's a lot of steam about Luther Burden, and I could see it working out. I think there's tons of upside there, but I think there's tons of upside with Roma Dunze. We've already seen him do it on the field.
Michael, give us a little bit of time before we get to the questions. We got to finish this segment up, and then we're going to get to everyone's question after this. So if you want to hang tight, would love to get to your question once we're done. So, yeah, Luther and Rome are tied. Let's get to the last receiver in the 4th round. This is a 3-4 turn pick. This is Tet McMillan. My guy, and this might be a wonky grade because of the offense, but that's just one category. So talent and breakout age, this should be very high. I'm going to go 8. I think 8 at least. I almost want to say 9, but I don't know. We gave Marv and Brian Thomas an 8. We gave Roman 8, Christian Watson an 8. I don't think he's guaranteed a better player than those guys, but he has some untapped potential these other guys don't have.
I mean, he's not particularly fast, so there is that. But what he did on the field last year as a rookie, coming in a pretty poor environment, I think there's good things in his future. I think an 8 is reasonable.
We'll go 8. I'm cool with that. I think 8's a little low and 9's a little high. We'll go 8.5, but we can't do that. We're not doing decimals. Volume and target share, 122 targets as a rookie. They didn't throw the ball. They were, I think, like in the low mid 20s in terms of total team passing attempts, 40 below the league average. That should go up this year based on their schedule. And, their defense is better, but their schedule is very tough. 6.5 implied total from Vegas for wins. So the volume, the target share was fine, like 23% last year. And I see this going to 25%. You don't have Chris Brazzell. They had some hopes for. He's out. Xavier Legette eats squirrels. He's terrible. And they have a full year of Jalen Coker, but that's going to kind of give Ted McMillan less double teams. And I have a number in my head. What do you have for this for Ted McMillan?
Dude, he had a 25.4% target share last year and 88.9% snap share. That's only going to go up from here. The snap share won't go up, but the target share is only going to go up. He can creep into that high 20s that we were talking about. Who else is catching? Again, Jalen Coker, fine. Who's their tight end there out of Texas, right? What's his name?
Jatavian Sanders. They just signed Darren Waller, and then they have Tommy.
Signed Darren Waller?
Gross. Yeah, Darren Waller's there.
Okay. Fine.
So,
still, he doesn't really make a difference there. I think this is a 9. I mean, it's not a high volume offense, but it is a volume play.
Wow. Yeah. So just for reference, we had nobody over 7 because, we're going from the 5th round to the 6th round to the 3rd round. We had a lot of 7s for Watson and Rome and guys like that. So I think 9's aggressive, but I'm a tech guy. So we'll go 9 because we're going to get dinged on the offense here for McMillan. So let's get to efficiency. He had some games that were really inefficient. That was tied to Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young had, 8 games under 200 yards passing last year, 10 games, some crazy high number. But he looked better at the end of the year, right? Both those games against the Rams were impressive. I don't want to go on record saying I'm a Bryce Young fan. I don't want to do that. But, I'm a Michael Bolton fan. I love his whole catalog. I want to go 6 for this just because it's a Bryce Young stat, right? He is an efficient player, I think, but the Bryce Young thing.
Like he was in the high 20s, low 30s in every efficiency metric that we realistically keep an eye on. Yards per target, yards per reception. He was number 23 last year, 1.89 yards per route run. If he's in the mid 20s on these as a freshman or as a rookie, I mean, it's only going to get better as a sophomore. So I think it's 7 for efficiency.
Let's go, dude. All right. You know what? I'm liking the top 3 because, I'm a pretty big Ted McMillan fan. So I want to just say thank you. I appreciate that, man.
I'll tell you what I do, man. 2 chicks at the same time, man.
Ted McMillan's going to do this year. All right. Touchdown upside. 7 as a rookie. I don't think he caught his first touchdown to week 5.
It was a long
stretch. The problem is, what is Bryce Young's actual ceiling for touchdown passes? Like 23? Like a Jalen Hurts number?
Yeah, this is where it gets a little hairy. He did have 15 red zone targets, which is number 19 last year. And he had 98 first read targets, which is highly correlative with touchdowns. But, man, I don't know that there is a ton of touchdown upside just in general with this offense.
Dude, he had 7 last year, though, in this shitty situation as a rookie. Yes, like, if 7 is his floor, dude.
Watch Darren Waller come in and catch 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, Darren Waller's going to be hurt by week 4, dude.
30% of the snap. I'm going to go 6.
Okay, I was going to say 6. I want to say 7, but let's go 6. That's fair. And then offensive environments. I mean, I like Dave Canales. I do like him.
Great.
Offensive line's okay, but the quarterback's 5'4", and we can't get away from that. So let's just look at what we have we have a 4 for Marv in terms of the Cardinals. We have a 5 for the Commanders. They're not equal to the Commanders. We should have raised it up for the Commanders. A 4 is a 4 fair for this. It's still Bryce Young. There's some hope, man. There's some hope.
It's not just how bad the offense will be. It's the fact that the quarterback is pretty bad, but that they also want to run the ball. They're very aggressive running team. That's great for Jonathan Brooks. It's great for Chuba Hubbard. Not so great for the pass catchers there.
All right, 89764 with a total of 34 points for Ted McMillan. This is out of a total of 50. Not great, but it was going to get the touchdown upside's got to go up. Let's move that up a little bit. Come on. Let's go to 7. Going to 7.
Fine.
I'm making a fucking executive. I have the paper. I'm hosting the show. That's what we're doing. 35 for Ted McMillan. I want it to be higher than Burden, but you know what? The numbers don't lie. That's why we're doing this exercise. Let's move on to the next name here. And now we're getting into the third round. This is the third round players. These numbers should be higher. T. Higgins is an interesting one, and we're going on this exercise assuming everyone's healthy, including Joe Burrow, including Jamar Chase. Talent and breakout age is T. Higgins like 28 now? 27. He's 27, right?
27, yeah. We just looked this up the other day.
Yeah, on our dynasty team. So we took all 27-year-old receivers. We took Devonta Smith. We took T. Higgins. We have Zay Flowers a little younger. But all right, talent and breakout age. Is this – trying to look at the other guys we have, an 8 for Christian Watson, an 8 for J-Mo. Is this a 7 for T. Higgins?
Yeah.
He's pretty fucking good. Like, you can go
good.
8.
I mean, he's not the most athletic guy. He's got a great frame on him, so I'll give him that.
Got a hell of an ass, too.
Yeah. Where do you put injury history in here?
We don't have it in there because Jalen Waddle would be dinged for that too. That goes with the breakout age. So maybe we ding, maybe 7. I think we could go 8, but with the soft tissue stuff, let's go 7 for T. Higgins. And then volume and target share, guys never eclipsed 112 was his highest targets ever. Maybe 114,
109, maybe something like that. 111 in 2022. He played all 7. That's the only year he's ever played all other than his rookie year. That's the only year he's played every single game.
So we gave McLaurin a 6. This has to be a 6. They're very similar in terms of, targets per game type players. So I think 6 is fair. You like that?
Yeah, I think 6 is pretty good.
All right, look, we're simpatico. We're definitely agreeing more than we did in the running back show.
Yeah,
so
we are.
I'm gonna say thank you. It's because you're not drinking tea, you're drinking the fucking Coke. So have some more cola, man. All right, efficiency. This should be pretty high. He is super efficient. Tied to Joe Burrow. We gave Terry an 8. I think this is also an 8.
I'm not willing to go 8 on that. 1.67 yards per run last year.
Joe Flacco, though, Joe Flacco was only looking at Chase, and there was a lot of Joe. There was also a couple games with the guy, I forget his name, fucking terrible quarterback.
Yeah. 2.07 yards per run. What'd you say, an 8? I think that's too high. I think 7.
All right, 7 is fair because the other numbers are going to be very high. Touchdown upside, I mean, this probably should be at least an 8. We gave Mike Evans an 8, tied to Joe Burrow. Give me an 8 for this one.
I would love to say that Jamar Chase is going to scoop up every red zone touchdown, but that's just not the case. T. Higgins gets a ball in the red zone when he's in there. He had 14 red zone targets last year and only played, 15 games? So
I think their careers are pretty close in terms of red zone percentage, right? Like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Like that's when Joe Burrow actually does look T. Higgins' way because it's single coverage, right? And he's 6'5".
T. Higgins can go up and body a guy, and Jamar Chase can do that also. But T. Higgins has the height. Jamar Chase is 6 feet tall. T. Higgins is 6'4". But Jamar Chase just outplays people in the red zone. It's insane.
I'm going 8. We're going 8 here. And then offensive environment. I mean, we gave a 9 to DJ Moore and the Lions and the Bills. This is a 9. This might be a 10.
Not going to find an argument. No, I won't give anybody a 10. You're not going to find an argument on a 9, though.
We don't have a 10 yet. We might have, one later on the list here. So T. Higgins, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 20. That's 37. That is tied for the lead with Christian Watson. Man, we love Christian Watson. I mean, it's just the injury stuff with Christian Watson.
Big question with both these guys is, can they stay healthy?
Big question is, are you going to invest? You ruined my boat, you jagaloons. All right, guys, again, we're getting to all the comments here.
Which we will fix.
That's awesome. We're going to get to all the questions in a couple minutes. We have about 6 more names to get to. So 37 for T. Higgins. Let's get to Jalen Waddle, which is going to be an interesting one. I'm not really a Jalen Waddle guy this year. Let's do it with an open mind and a nice full heart here. Talent and breakout age, very good player. I don't want to go 8, but I think 8 is fair for Jalen Waddle. He's a hell of a player.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a hell of a player. He's 27 years old. Super athletic dude. I mean, his speed score's a little lower, but talent-wise, we've seen it on the field for a couple of years. So what do you say, an 8? I think an 8's he's right in that sweet spot for age for wide receivers.
All right, we'll go 8 there. And then volume and target share. It's just interesting because it's new offense. Sutton is still going to definitely be the red zone guy, but this is the number one option for Bo Nix. And he kind of always has eyes. He's never really had a true number one besides Sutton. He's really not a true number one. I can see him locking in on Waddle. We had a 7 for Burden, a 6 for McLaurin. Like, is this right in line with that? I can see 130 targets as his ceiling, but I also see the world where it's 118.
Yeah, I mean, he had 100 targets last year, and he only missed one game. But that was the Dolphins. Obviously, this will be they threw the fourth most times in Denver last year, which is just still tough to wrap your head around with that defense. They threw the fourth most in the league. Anyway, I think, because outside of Sutton, there's really not a lot. I was going to say 8 initially, but I could be talked into a 7.
Can you move this way a little bit, Storey, so you're in the camera? I want to see that nice haircut. Okay, we're going to go 7. 7 here for Waddle. Efficiency. Been a tale of a couple different careers in Miami. He had the PPR year, and then he had a lot of just awesome downfield stuff with a really, really, it wasn't even the 8 on it. It was what he's doing with the ball in his hands after the catch with Tua. What do you have? This is a really tough one for Waddle.
I mean, 2.41 yards per route run last year, 9.1 yards per target, 14.2 per yards per reception. I think it's only going to get better in Denver with that offense. So an 8, probably.
I ain't going 8. Fuck. I don't trust Bo Nix, man. He's erratic as hell. I'm going 7. I think we're going 7. Can we meet in the middle here?
You're saying he's more erratic than last year's Tua?
No, I'm not saying that. But Tua gives layup targets. Bo Nix misses those targets, dude. He's better down the field. I can't go 8 for Waddle and efficiency. No way. Not with Bo Nix. I can't do it.
Again, 2.41 yards per route run last year. I mean, that screams volume.
All right, I'll go 8.
You can go 7. I'll give you 8. Split the difference. Go 7.
Yeah, 7. All right. Touchdown upside. This one has to be low because Sutton is the guy there. Bo Nix going to take some on the ground, maybe 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns. They want to run the ball in the red zone. They might bring in Taysom Hill. Let's not factor that in, but that could happen. I know you love that. That's a Sean Payton special just for you, man.
God.
What do you think? This has got to be, we had a 6 for Parker Washington, a 5 for Brian Thomas. This is 5 max for me, man.
Yeah, I think 5's pretty right. They are going to throw for some touchdowns, but there's Pat Bryant there. There's Troy Franklin. They're going to throw the running backs a little bit, so I think 5.
And then offensive environments. I have a number in my head. You hate Sean Payton, but he's still a good offensive mind. What do you have for offensive environment? Good offensive line as well.
It is good defense, though, so I'm not so sure that they're going to be a top 10 offense again this year. I think that we can look for a 7 in that.
Man, we had the Bears at a 7. The defense is what I want to tick down a little bit, because of the defense. I know last year Bo Nix was throwing the ball, but they had all those comeback games. I don't think that's going to be the case. Surtain missed a couple games last year. I can give you a 7. You hate Sean Payton though. You hate him.
But it's they. I'm not sure that the running backs that they have, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, Jonah Coleman, are going to be enough to keep this team from throwing the ball a ton.
I'll go 7. Okay, so 7. We have 26. We have 34 for Jalen Waddle, which is tied with Mike Evans, tied with Adams, J-Mo, still lower than Christian Watson and Rome Odunze and Luther Burden. So that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad I didn't go to 6, because he is getting drafted higher than those guys. Let's move to, you're going to love this one, your favorite player in the world, Lad McConkey, dude. You think he sucks, don't you?
I don't think he sucks. I just think that he's not all that in a bag of chips, as the kids say. That's what they're saying nowadays, right?
I don't know. Hold on. I know who to ask here. I know who to ask. You know what's coming, don't you? I know who to ask. There we go. Yeah. Hey, MJ, what are the kids saying these days? The answer is don't. That's what they're saying. Oh, shit. I had to throw that in there a little bit. I had to do it.
Jeez, Peter, you're more excited than Adrian Peterson at an arboretum.
Daddy, what kind of tree is that?
Man, I want to beat you with so many things around here.
All right. Let's get back to the list. And Ladd McConkey, talent and breakout age, young player. I think he's a better route runner than you do. The issue is going to be touchdown upside for me, but this is talent and breakout age. I think this is pretty high. I mean, we gave Rome and Brian Thomas, those guys, 8s. He's not an alpha, and last year he was displaced in this offense because of Keenan Allen. He needs to be in the slot almost every snap, and the offensive line is better. I want to go with 8, but I could be sold on 7.
I think you're high even with 7. I could be talked into 7, but he only had a 15% college target share. As you mentioned, an old Keenan Allen really boxed him out of the offense quite a bit last year. Not a ton of explosive plays. 107 targets last year for a slot guy. You would expect, a slot flanker guy that gets moved around the formation. You would have expected a lot more. The offense had something to do with that still. I think if you want to go 7, we can go 7.
I'm going to go 7 because if he's in the proper role, he is a very talented player. But when he gets, when they're trying to play him out of his comfort zone and they're trying to move him around and use him outside of the slot, that's when he's like a 4 or 5. And the problem was Keenan Allen is just not capable of playing anything else but slot. And they wanted Keenan Allen on the field last year, and they thought that Ladd, as a rookie, he did have some success lining up out wide. He can do it, but that's not where he's best suited. So I'm going to go 7. Just based on that, I trust McDaniel to get the most out of him, right? What's the best way to get Ladd McConkey? We need him because Quentin Johnson and Trey Harris, they're both kind of emerging, but they're not elite players. Gadsden, not an elite player. They need to make Ladd McConkey a thing. Let's go 7. Volume and target share. It was awesome as a rookie. It was awful last year. So many games with like 4 targets, and it's going to be spread around there. It's going to be spread around the running backs as well.
25% target share in 24, 20% target share last year, 79% snap share is good, but 20% target rate, 21% target share last year. It's going to be spread around. Trey Harris is they got some good pass catching running backs. Trey Harris is going to take a step forward, but no Keenan Allen, I think, makes a difference here. I think that this is probably assuming that he's the guy, and it's not that and he doesn't get displaced by Trey Harris in 2 wide receiver sets. I think you can go with a 7 on volume and target share.
Okay. 7 efficiency. I'm thinking a 7 as well. You could sell me on 8. I mean, because it's again tale of 2 seasons, right? Like so efficient as a rookie, still pretty efficient at Georgia. It was just the target earning stuff was the issue. So what do you have here?
Yeah, I mean, weird. The yards per route run was a full one-off, 2.56 yards per route run his rookie year, and then 1.47 yards per route run. So I would say that what's the new norm? It's probably somewhere in the middle. So I think a 6 or a 7 realistically.
Let's go 7 because this offense should take an uptick, right? With Slater and Alt being back. That's just going to set everything in a healthy Hampton. Okay, touchdown upside. Now this is the one that's probably a 5, maybe even lower.
He did have 14 red zone targets last year, but QJ
How many touchdowns? How many touchdowns did he have, though?
They're a running team first. I think 5. Oh, how many touchdowns? How many touchdowns did he have last year? 6 touchdowns, 6 receiving touchdowns last year.
We'll go 5, right in the average. It would be lower if it wasn't a good offense. Now, offensive environment, I'm a little higher in the Chargers than you are. I think this is also a 7.
I think it's a 6.
Dude, Mike McDaniel had the number 1 offense in football with Tua. And now he gets Justin Herbert and a good old line, and come on.
Okay,
you got to give the benefit out for coaching here a little bit.
Another season where where Justin Herbert is hypothetically good. I need to see Herbert do it other than that 1 year.
Dude, we had I know we had 7
for
the Bears. I can't go 6 here. I got to go 7. 7 is not elite.
Personally, I think McDaniel is a bit of a D-bag and a troll and a tool, and I don't think he's.
Well, he is, but he also knows how to coach. He's a good coach.
Does he though? What happened last year?
He's not a good head coach.
Okay.
I think 7 is fair, man.
There's plenty of talent, but it's still a Jim Harbaugh-led team. They're in need of a star. It's not QJ. It's not Ladd McConkey. I just think that they're going to be healthier, but I don't know.
All right, we'll go 6. Jesus, fucking crying and whining over here. All right, 7, 7, 7, 5, 6. That is 20. That's 32. 32 points for Lad McConkey. So he is not the next JSN, is essentially what you just said, Story.
I don't disagree with that. I don't think.
All right. Next name. We have 4 more names to get to. We're going all the way up to the start of the 3rd round. So we're in the middle of the 3rd round here, end of the 3rd round still, kind of with Garrett Wilson. This is going to be all over the fucking map. Talent, breakout age. This is a 10. I want to go 10 on this one. I love Garrett Wilson, dude. I love Garrett Wilson.
I'm not giving anybody a 10. That's because what has he actually done? Right? What great talent,
fuckload of targets. All right, we'll go 9. We're going 9 here. This is gotta be 9.
I don't know, man. Like, so fine. He's 26 years old. He's right in that prime. But we keep talking about Garrett Wilson like he's some transcendent talent. But 1,100 yards as a rookie, awesome, great. 147 targets, then 168 targets. Dude,
eye test,
11 yards
per
play. Reception, 10.9 yards per reception, 11. Like, he's not an alpha. Like he's the alpha on this team, but he's not like a difference-making wide receiver. If you put him up against Chase and Puka, like he's not there.
You want to give him the same score he gave Roma Dunze? Get the fuck out of here with that. We've never seen Roma Dunze be great. We've seen Garrett Wilson just has been screwed by bad quarterback play. That's really what it is. He's always open. He can play all 3 positions at the wide receiver spot. It's a 10 for me. You go 8, I'm going 9. Sorry,
I will push. You can't say Garrett Wilson is a 10. The dude hasn't cracked 1,200 yards. He's got 2 1,100 yards.
Who has his quarterbacks been, dude? Aaron Rodgers off an Achilles. Zach Wilson, Justin Fields.
What did Chase do with Joe Flacco last year? Like
Joe Flacco's better than any quarterback. Joe Flacco against Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers didn't want to be there. That was apparent.
I'm not saying that.
Going 9. I'm going 9.
I'm not saying he doesn't have upside.
I'm overtaking you. 9.
Come on. 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 7, 4. And I get it. There's an offensive environment. We're going to talk about that. But realistically, at some point we got to realize that maybe Garrett Wilson, as good as he looks, he might not be the guy.
That's why we're not going 10. We're going 9. I'm not putting him the same as Roma Dunze. I can't do that.
I'm not saying he's not important to the Jets. I'm not saying that he's not an important player. But realistically, from a fantasy
better player, Roma Dunze or Garrett Wilson? Better player.
Garrett Wilson. What do we get?
There you go. That's why he's getting a 9. Volume and target share. This should be very high as well.
That one you're not going to find an argument on. No, yeah, there's no argument there whatsoever. Give him a 9 on that because who's going to catch the ball? Ed Mitchell?
All right, now I love Ed Mitchell. So efficiency has been really fucking bad, but I want to go 5 because the player, right? It could be lower, but it could be high. I think 5 is fair.
His yards per route run is not good, but it's not terrible. 1.76 yards per route run. I think 5 is fine there. I mean, you could even say 6 because accounting for the offense that he plays in.
Could be better this year as well. Let's go 6. Touchdown upside. Geno Smith's going to be aggressive, and I know you probably want to go lower. I think the offensive environment should be lower. I think he's still, on a per-game basis, does score some touchdowns, and it's been with really bad quarterback play. Geno is probably the best quarterback he's played with. That's a crazy thing to say.
That's terrible.
No, but it's true. So I want to go 6 because the talent level, and he's going to get a lot of targets. They're just going to be bad red zone targets.
Yeah.
5 or 6.
I think 6. No, I think 6 is reasonable because he did have 7 touchdowns in 24, and he played all 17 games, and he had 4 touchdowns in fewer than half of that last year. So he was on pace for more touchdowns last year. So I think a 6 is fine.
All right, now we get to offensive environments, and we gave it's probably a 4 or a 3. I have some hope this year, though. But
so they added a couple of playmakers. Got to hope that Kenyon Sadiq can get back on the field soon. I think he's a difference-making tight end if he can get there. But yeah, I don't know, 3. What did you say? I think 3.
I think 3 is fair. We gave him some benefit of doubt in the other one. So 9-9, 6-6-3 just slowly got worse. And that's 18 and 12. That's 33 for Garrett Wilson. It's going to be hard to really be truly a league winner if you have this quarterback play.
Yeah, it's rough. Okay.
All right, Chris Olave.
Dude, I love Garrett Wilson. I love Garrett Wilson.
Apparently, I like him more than you, man.
But okay.
All right, Chris
I'll
Olave.
be right back. I'll be right back.
Okay, he couldn't hold out the whole show without pissing, and that is soft, Story. That is soft. I'm gonna play a clip.
Good. Tell me everything.
Okay, they were both here. They were both inside me. Eduardo was in my mouth and Luther was in my butt.
Oh my God, no, don't tell me everything. What? No, what?
Damn it, Bonnie.
Eduardo who?
Sanchez.
Holy shit, tell us more.
Then Luther went in Eduardo's butt for a while.
Tell us less. Tell us less.
Then they both completed on each other. I was left out of the finale.
Don't be left out of the finale. Well, I got an issue with my iPad here. And Story will be back in just a second. He's taking a little tinkle break. Cameron, are you still in here? Or do you want to do an underdog draft after this? Since you signed up, you did earn the fellas a draft. So if you want to, I will start a new stream after we get done with this one, and we'll draft the team on underdog. We got a super from Connor. Rob, I'm on my way to your city in 4 hours. So you're leaving early in the morning. It's a day game tomorrow, right? He's coming to see the Cubs and Cardinals play. Hell yeah, man. And I want to shout out Connor. Your buddy Sam did join. And we can just take a little look here. I have him in the graphic. Our boy, Sam, our new boy, Sam. Where's it at? Here it is. You'll see Sam in there. Sam T. It's your guy. Thank you for getting him in there. Let's show a weather woman, Helen Hunt. Look at her looking all fabulous. Guys, real quick, those of you interested in joining the community while we wait for Story to get back, we are offering 50% off your first month up until the end of the month. Hop in there. You know, we offer quite a bit of stuff. Good way to support the show. And also get in the Discord, get in the Patreon, and get in the community because it is the place to be. And on top of all the other stuff that you see, we offer our bets, and Story's going to have his college bets in here, but this is my specific player props through the first 4 years of the show. We're going on to year 5 here. This is our 5th season. And every year we just pretty much have dominated. So I don't think anything's going to change. If anything, maybe we do better because I'm so in touch with this shit. No guarantees, but I think I can guarantee you that you're not going to lose money because that would be a wild shock to go from 96 and 58 to 500. I don't think that's going to happen, but all right. Story's back. How was your tinkle?
It's great. Amazing. Incredible.
Good. I can't wait to do mine. I've trained my bladder pretty goddamn well. Let's get back. We have a couple more names to get to, and we're on to Chris Olave here. Thank you, Connor. You're the man. Chris Olave, talent and breakout age. This should be pretty damn high. The concussions were the issue. Doesn't seem to be an issue anymore, any more than any other player. Is this an 8 for you for Olave? I can't go to the 9 of Garrett Wilson. I do like Chris Olave, though.
You gave Garrett Wilson a 9. You went behind my back and you gave him a 9.
Garrett Wilson's a better player than Chris Olave.
Okay, fine. 8. 156 targets last year in 16 games played. That's pretty darn good.
Not targets. Yeah, that's different than what we're talking about. And he's a very good player. 8's very good. 8's very good.
I mean, he's 26 years old, right? Workout metrics are pretty good. There's a couple things that you'd like to see better, but in general, like few. Anyway, 8's good.
All right, volume and target share. I believe this is also an 8.
I mean, with the news on Tyson, I think I could go 9 on this. He had a 29% target share last year, 27.5% target rate. Assuming Jordan Tyson, I mean, I know we're assuming health for everybody, but we have to take into account the news that happened today. It's not like this is a new injury for Tyson. This is something that he dealt with during the pre-draft process and he dealt with during his final season at Arizona State last year. I think a 9. Like he's got that elite target share of 29% that we saw last year.
We'll go 9. That's what we gave Garrett Wilson. That's fair. Efficiency is we gave a 6 to Garrett Wilson. This is probably a 7.
Yeah, 7's good. I mean, 2.05 yards per route run. The problem there is yards per target and yards per reception are lower than you would expect. He was 7.5 yards per target, not great, and 11.6 yards per target last year, or yards per reception. But he's had several seasons in the 12s, and his rookie year, he was a 14.5. So I think 7's good.
Touchdown upside. We gave Garrett Wilson a 6, but I think this is lower for a couple of reasons. Chris Olave has actually not scored a lot of touchdowns in his career. Tyler Shuck's Vegas total is 16.5 passing touchdowns. Like that's
what?
In. Yeah. He's at 3,750 yards, really high number for yardage, higher than Justin Herbert, for instance. But his touchdown number is super low. I think they're factoring in the design quarterback runs. I said this the other day on the show. I think they're projecting this offense to be up and down the field, but not a lot of touchdowns.
That's crazy. He had 9 touchdowns last year, Olave did.
Yeah, a lot of that was at the end of the year and a couple broken plays. He had one from Taysom Hill that I'm not going to discount. I'm just saying it was kind of a weird play, a 40-yard touchdown in garbage time. I want to go 5 or 6 here.
I think just on the fact that he almost had double-digit touchdowns last year, you got to go 7.
No, I'm not going higher than Jamison Williams, dude. No fucking way.
He caught more touchdowns than Jamison Williams did last year.
Last year they threw the ball a million times. I mean, I guess they could do that again, but he just not. Jamison Williams, okay, I guess we can go 7. I don't think it's 7. We'll go 7.
Okay.
Give it the benefit of the doubt. Offensive environment should be pretty high as well. We had a 6 for Ladd McConkey. There's no way this is better than the Chargers.
No, I would go 6. I would even say 5. It's still the Saints, dude. Like they made incremental improvements, but it's not like they're going to go from where they were last year to a top 10 offense. They're still going to be middle of the pack. I think 5.
I'll go 5. I was going to say 6 for this one, but I wanted to go 6 for touchdown upside, so that kind of evens out. So we have 8, 9, 7, 7, 5. Again, Olave is almost going, at the 2-3 turn. So we have 14 and 7, 31, 36 for Chris Olave, which is one of the higher numbers. We have a couple 37s, but that is a very high number. Yeah. Also a very safe player.
But you're paying for it, right? Last year was great when you were getting Olave in the 6th, 7th round. Now you're getting him at the 2-3 turn. Big difference.
We know all about that because we were getting him everywhere because we had him everywhere. And thank you, Chris Olave, for winning me a fuckload of money last year. It sounds like I'm down on Olave, but I'm not. Okay, Emeka Egbuka, your guy, your hero, your lover, this is your version of my Tucker Kraft.
Secret
last year, am I right?
And you got to give credit to this rookie sensation wide receiver out of Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka.
I could listen to that all day long.
All right, this is the last 2 names. We have one more name after Egbuka, and then we'll get to some comments. So Egbuka for talent and breakout age. This is a really tough one. The age is very nice, but I didn't love the prospect coming out as much as you did. First 5 was great. End of the season, yes, he was probably dinged up, was not very good. What do you have for this?
This is such a wild stat. 63 receptions on 127 targets last year. I mean, his catchable target rate was atrocious.
Yeah, and he was also dropping not being able to jump. It was rough. But I'm going to attribute some of that to the injury.
I'm not going to discount it. He had 6 drops last year, so no argument there. But still, just 23 years old. Great prospect coming out. We saw it. The explosive play rate is very high. He was number 6 in explosive plays last year, number 8 in receiving explosive plays. I think it's an 8 on talent and breakout edge. He's 24. He's going to be going in his sophomore year. Second year is now the new third year for wide receivers.
We'll go 8. I want to go 7, but I think 7's a little low. I think 8's a little high, but we'll go 8. Volume and target share. Baker wants to spread the ball around. No Mike Evans, though, but drafting Ted Hurst. You got Kate Ott in there, soaking up a lot of targets. I think I want to go 7. I think I want to go 7 here. I don't think we should project more. We could go 8 if you want. We have.
He will take a step forward. He had 23.5% target share last year, but he played 79% of the snaps. I think that's only going to go up. Godwin's still there, so that's Godwin being there and McMillan being there is what's keeping me from above a 7.
7 for Egbuka there. Efficiency. Again, the drops were bad last year. It was so efficient early on. It was based on touchdowns and just everything was clicking. Is this also a 7?
Oh, man. Like my heart says 7, but my head says 6. Like his yards per route run, 1.8 last year. Yards per target were atrocious at 7.4, but 14.9 yards per reception. Like, that's great. So...
You love Egbuka. I want to go 7 just because of this. So if they play him out of position again, if they try to make him Mike Evans, it'll be a fucking 4. If they put him in his true role as a Z and a flanker, this is probably an 8. So I think we meet in the middle and go 7 with just the fact he's a younger player. 7 is fair there. Touchdown upside's got to be pretty high. I mean, he was averaging a touchdown a game the first 5 weeks, and then it's just similar to what happened to, Romadunze, but we know Romadunze's injury really affected him. I do believe Ibuka's injury was a major factor as well as Baker's. And I'm thinking 7 here as well.
Yeah, I can't go above a 7 because there is some touchdown regression coming for Baker as well this year. Now, he did have 14 red zone targets last year. So that should only go up, I would think. He did play 17 games. Rome's injury actually kept him out. Ibuka played through them, and I think that was the big downfall for him last year.
All right, we'll go 7. So really balanced so far, Ibuka. 8, 7, 7, 7, which is nice to not have any really major categories that suck. It's similar to this is probably the answer for the JSN thing because we could see all of these things being higher, but I can't see a lot of them going lower. So let's see what offensive environment has for us. What do you think?
I think it's a 6. I honestly would love to be all in on the Bucs this year, but that offense, a lot of it was injury related, but it's not a crutch that we can lean on nonstop. The departure of Liam Cohen did a lot for that, and Baker regressed back to not, Cleveland Baker, but certainly not the Baker from 2024. So I do think that this is a 6. I think they're going to be try to be more balanced on offense this year.
We got 8, 7, 7, 7, 6 for a total of 35 for Ibuka, which is pretty high. It's lower than Higgins, but I think we were kind of giving Higgins the bump for a Joe Burrow MVP tour thing, which is definitely in the realm of possibility. So Pretty good score for Ibuka. Last name here. Both of our boys, specifically my boy, Zay Flowers, on our Dynasty squad as well. So Zay Flowers, talent, breakout age. I want to say 9 for this one because I think Zay Flowers is a top 10 talent in the NFL. Just he's always open, always fucking open. Touchdown stuff we'll get to is an issue, but tied to Lamar Jackson. I want to go 9, but I could see 8.
Yeah, I think 8 realistically because it's such a dichotomy between his athleticism score and the actual play on the field. Like the play on the field does not reflect how, I don't want to say poorly he tested because he's still a 4.42 guy, but speed score is low, burst score fine, catch radius obviously he's not a huge catch radius guy, but explosive play rate is probably as high as anybody we've seen. So I think 8.
We'll go 8. All right. Volume and target share. So the target share is very, very high. The volume is not as high. They didn't add a lot. They lost Isaiah Likely. They're going to give Derrick Henry the ball a lot, but the efficiency is probably the thing that's going to be very high here. So is this a 7 for you? Because target share is very high, but the volume is average.
Yeah, target share was 29% last year, 25.5% target rate. The problem is we're taking into account volume as well, and it's just not a voluminous passing offense. So I think 7.
7 is fair for Zay. We're going to recap all these guys and then get to some comments after this. We have efficiency. I want to go 9, but I think we should go 8. What do you think?
I would not be opposed to 9 if you want to go there. Like yards per route run, 2.62 last year, 10.3 yards per target. I guess yards per reception, 14.1 is not great. That could have been chalked up to Lamar Jackson being hurt.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So I think 9 good call because if Lamar is running again and Derrick Henry, we don't think has lost a step, like there's a lot of single coverage coming Zay Flowers' way, and Zay Flowers can't be guarded by 2 men. So we saw at the end of the year when Lamar came back and is relatively healthy, and it sucked that it happened after the fantasy season. We had that second half against the Steelers where it was just like, oh, Zay Flowers over the top. Oh, Zay Flowers over the top. Also comebacks, quick hitters like Zay Flowers, 9. Let's go 9 here for our boy Zay.
Yeah.
Touchdown upside. This one. No. Even though we saw at the end of the last year, I think it's higher than what it should be because we've seen these guys, perpetually be 4 or 5 touchdown players and have an 8 touchdown season. It's definitely in the realm of outcomes, of possibilities here, but we can't go very high for this one, right?
No, I mean, can he make the leap into 8, 9 touchdown guy? Sure. Is he going to? That's tough. It remains to be seen. Unless Henry takes a big step back. It's 5, 4, 5 to start, then 4. Like probably a 4. Yeah. Like you're not getting a lot of touchdowns from Zay Flowers, unfortunately.
We had a 5 for Waddle, though. So, can you realistically say Waddle scores more touchdowns than Zay Flowers, dude? I don't think so. And definitely not this year with Sutton being there. I think we got to tie it with Waddle. We can go 4, though. I'm just going off what we said with Waddle.
We've seen it with Waddle. We've certainly seen it with Waddle. We haven't seen it with Zay Flowers yet. That's probably the big difference there.
I'll go 4. Zay Flowers upside offensive environment. We're both pretty high in the Ravens this year.
Yeah. 8?
I think 8 is fair. We had only 1 9. We had 2 9s, 3 9s. Lions, Bills, and Bengals. So this makes sense to be 8.
Yeah.
8 is fair here. So Zay Flowers, 8, 7, 9, 4, 8 for a score of 28, 36 for Zay Flowers, which is it's in line with Olave, 1 below Higgins, equal to Luther Burden and Roma Dunze. So, dude, Roma Dunze. So let's just go through the list real quick. Just some guys that pop out to me. I have it in front of me here. Roma Dunze, 36, going in almost the 6th round. Now, that's going to tick up a little bit with the Luther Burden thing. He is one of the higher scorers here. We only had one guy beat that. That was T. Higgins, based on the touchdown upside stuff. Christian Watson also at 37. He's going really late. 36 for Burden, 37 for T. Higgins. T. Higgins is the highest. Olave, Ibuka, Zay Flowers. Those guys should be the highest because they go the earliest. But some guys that didn't score well, I'm going to not count Marv and Brian Thomas because they go so much later than these guys. But Terry McLaurin was 33. We had 32 for Ladd, 33 for Garrett Wilson. That was offensive stuff and touchdowns. So, man, the takeaway I have is T. Higgins has elite upside if Joe Burrow stays healthy. Christian Watson has a chance to be a wide receiver 1. Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. But Roma Dunze is the one that stands out because he goes later, right? Roma Dunze, we should be targeting in the end of the 5th round.
You take into account draft cost, Roma Dunze and Christian Watson seem like the best bets on the board based on these numbers.
Again, it's not a perfect science. We're doing our best. And I think the fact that we have 2 of us on here kind of keeps us honest. And, it doesn't let us do crazy things. It's like, I love Ted McMillan. Like, I want Ted McMillan to rank higher in this because I want to draft him. Doesn't mean that this is not perfect. Doesn't mean we shouldn't draft Ted McMillan. This is trying to find the elite ceiling. And unfortunately, unless Bryce Young is throwing 30 touchdowns this year and he turns into fucking Doug Flutie, like, it's just not going to happen for Ted McMillan. Doesn't mean he can't be a top 12 guy. We're trying to find the next JSN. League winners, it's also relative in terms of draft costs, right? Like Roma Dunze doesn't need to be a top 5 receiver to be a league winner where you're drafting him. Ted McMillan probably needs to be top 5, top 6 to be a true league winner. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, realistically, how often do you see a top 5 wide receiver come out of an offense that's not at least a top 10 offense? It rarely happens. These guys can certainly be top 12 wide receivers. We've seen that before with bad offenses. But if the guy's going to make a leap into the top half of round 1, your ASBs, your Chases, your JSNs, your Justin Jeffersons, you need a good offensive environment.
100%. $5 holler from Mouth. Shout out Mouth. What's up, man? Appreciate you. He says, Rob, tell him what you're doing September 1st. Well, I'm definitely jerking off first thing in the morning. I'll have some coffee. And then I'm going on Downtown Sports with Ian Eagle. Mouth is gracious enough to have me on with the GOAT. The GOAT, Ian Eagle, which really looking forward to. That is September 1st. Guys, if you get in the community and the guys that are already in our community, we're doing a contest. The best question we're going to read on air. I'm going to read to Ian Eagle, give you a shout out. It could be fantasy related because he's been playing fantasy since 1990. It could be real life related. Any of those things, definitely do that. And you want to check out Downtown Sports because that's where this interview is happening. It's me, Beast, Mouth, and Ian Eagle, a legend, a pillar in the broadcasting and sports community. So check out Downtown Sports on YouTube. They're on 23 platforms, but they're on YouTube now, newer channel. Want to get that sub total up. So you want to sub to the channel so then you can actually listen to the show on September 1st. Probably be out September 1st at night, maybe September 2nd. Give me a great time talking fantasy, talking real life football with the GOAT, Ian Eagle, Mr. Uncle Ian. You jealous, Storey? Eat a dick, bitch.
I've only been invited on once. I'm very jealous.
You're still working your way into, elite territory here. I'm working on it. I'm just kidding. You're definitely better than me, but I'm trying to be you, Storey. I'm trying to be you. I need to get better hair, dude. I need to get better hair. It's not great.
Got to style it. I don't know. There's tons of. I look at live streams nowadays. Guys wearing baseball cap backwards or wearing tank tops. It's a wild west out there these days.
Yes, it is. And let's go up to we missed a lot of comments. Let's get like 15 minutes of comments in before we get off. And let's see. Do you guys want David Montgomery or DeAndre Swift in half PPR? Half PPR, it's David Montgomery for me. Now, full PPR is where it becomes a little closer. What do you got, Storey?
This was really tough because I do think that Monunga is going to eat into more of Swift's work than Woody Marks will into David Montgomery. At the same time, I do think that we saw how good Swift could be when the offense was clicking last year for Chicago. It took a few games for them to get into it, but once they did, Swift was very, very good for fantasy. I get a little worried about this offense not needing to score a ton of points in Houston. I can see a bunch of 17 to 14, 20 to 10 type of games where Chicago has made it clear that they want to score a ton of points. So I think I'm going to lean Swift.
Yeah, Monunga they were both so good in the second half last year. I think it was Swift was running back 13 from week 8 on. Monunga was running back 19. So they're both eating. And that's just reinforces how great Ben Johnson is at making this running games work, right? That's a big part of what happened to Detroit. It wasn't just Dan Campbell, it was Ben Johnson, dude. Hatcher says Taco Bell is meh. Not a lot of choices when it comes to fast food.
Dude, I'm not saying it's gourmet food. It's pretty trash food, but I'm saying it's pretty darn tasty. That's here's the problem though. Dude, when was the last time you went to Taco Bell? Because
my wife loves it.
It's stupid expensive nowadays. When I was in high school, you used to be able to get tacos for like $1.49 or whatever it was. You can go there, you can eat for a couple of bucks, get an after school snack. Nowadays, you're spending $10, $12, $14 on tacos. Get out of here with that nonsense. And I don't need all this specialty crap that they keep stuffing down our throats. Just give us regular tacos at a reasonable price. That's not too much to ask, is it?
You know what really grinds my gears? This Lindsay Lohan. Eh? Lindsay Lohan with all those little outfits, jumping around there on stage, half naked with your little outfits. You know, you're up there jumping around, and I'm just sitting here with my beer. So, what am I supposed to do? What do you want? Are we gonna go out? Is that what you're trying to? Why are you leaping around there, throwing those things all up over there in my face? Huh? What do you want, Lindsay? Tell me what you want.
I didn't think we'd have a Taco Bell rant on this one, but there you go.
You never know what's coming. That's why people tune in every single night. Cameron doesn't think 45 to 50 touchdown passes for Stafford is out of the realm. McVay is aggressive and cocky and likes to run it up. That is true. That is true.
That is very true. It's just, if you look at history, anytime you get a 7% touchdown rate one year, and this has happened with Stafford before, the touchdown rate comes down precipitously the next year. So just going on history alone, I don't think that they can throw for 45 touchdowns.
No, I don't need it. I have the Taco Bell app. I get the deals. Storey is a fucking dinosaur over here. Is probably going to the drive-thru and just picking what he wants.
No, man, I get the Taco Bell app.
Guys. Like,
get my rewards for Taco Bell. Get my free.
Storey is a wealthy individual. Storey's a business owner.
Yeah, they changed the rewards program a little bit too. So the earnings the same, but you used to be able to use your reward for like a chalupa, which was like $5 or whatever. Now the best thing you can get is like one of those wraps or whatever for like $2. So they changed the reward rebates as well. This is endemic of every corporation out there today. They shitify everything, so they keep incrementally ticking down, making the shit that you earn worth less. I hate it.
Well, they couldn't tick down their ground beef because that's already the bottom of the barrel. It can't get any worse.
Yeah, legally, it's ground beef.
That's what Bear ate in Obsession, right? In that sandwich, it was just Taco Bell ground beef. Not a cat. Spoiler. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops. Damn it.
Come on.
It was a whoops. No one caught that.
Not in the theater anyway.
So. Michael, I don't know if Michael's still in here. This question was from almost an hour ago. I want to get your opinion on reaching for Monty like 6 or 9 spots. No. That I love Monty. I also love Judkins, Swift, Bayshell Tootin. They're all in that range. So like I don't necessarily think there's a big gap between any of these players. So I'm never looking to reach for a player. Like, don't go into a draft like that. And I would probably have Monty maybe the top of this tier. The point is, it's not a tier break. They're all similar. And if it's a standard league, maybe because Monty's going to has the most touchdown upside of anyone in that bunch. But in PPR, man, they all have appeal. I'm not reaching 9 spots for Montgomery. Not a type of player you want. He's not a league winner, right?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he has his upside is certainly capped because the pass catching just doesn't exist in that offense.
Oh, Bayou Bengal. I didn't see you in here. I don't know if you're still in here, Bayou. Maybe you're just listening to the awesome segment. I appreciate you. Go check out his channel. I'm going to post that in the Discord again for you guys tonight. The Bears have been around since the beginning of time. It's a Windy City for a reason. Wonder why they never had a good offense. It's actually the Windy City because of politics, though, right? It is windy here, but it's not that windy.
Yeah, it's not a reference to the actual wind. It's a reference to the politicians at the turn of the 19th century and how like windbagged they were. Oh, that makes sense.
And it's because our franchise is kind of a joke and we draft terrible quarterbacks. That's the big. The weather is still a factor for sure. It's an outdoor stadium in the Midwest. So it is windy, it is cold, and it is snowy. It used to be a lot more snowy than it is now. But let's see. T will be T. You're drafting him for 1,000 to 1,300 yards and 10 TDs if healthy, maybe more. The touchdowns is the appeal, right? He's never going to be a 1,400-yard receiver.
Probably not. But yeah, touchdowns, man. He can. God, could he get 14 touchdowns like that? That would be wild. In that offense, though, if the defense remains bad.
Mouth, you're the one that hooked up Bayou to the channel. Appreciate that. I've watched some of his stuff. He's pretty smart dude. Maybe we can do something sometime. Jake Browning, I forgot his name because I don't want to speak of Jake Browning ever again because that was awful. I actually picked him up and where it's at and started him because I had Joe Burrow last year, and everyone takes 2 quarterbacks because there's like 9 bench spots. So I ended up getting Flacco, which was fine. It's 6 for a passing touchdown league. But he got me negative, I think, dude, because he had that game. And it was a game against the Vikings. Remember when they had like 3 defensive touchdowns? And Browning was awful stuff.
Yeah. Is he still on the no way he's still on the Bengals, right?
He shouldn't be in the NFL. You know what's weird is Browning looked really good as a rookie or whatever it was the first time he played, rookie or second year. He looked pretty good. And everyone should look good in that offense because you're throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But the offensive line's an issue. Joe Burrow can work around that. That dude cannot. Connor says, how about Richardson earlier? Was looking decent. He threw a pick the first drive, of course. I didn't see the pick, but he actually looked okay. He had like 57 yards rushing. That is why if he ever gets a starting job again, Anthony Richardson's always a top 10 quarterback. I actually want to say top 5 quarterback because that's where he's been in his career. Dude's awesome.
Big if, though. He's not very well received within the organization. And nobody wants to trade for him, apparently.
Let's see. Any quarterback could have done what Tua did, 100%. Tua, early in his career, though, had some elite traits, right? It was really accurate, really quick release, saw the field pretty decent, at least like 2 or 3 reads, never 4 reads. But the decline of Tua was the head stuff, his mobility. I don't know if it was the hip injury coming out of it. It was like never great, but his mobility, he's geriatric as hell, dude. He's a 1. If we did a quarterback thing with mobility and athleticism, Tua is a 1, right? He's worse than Joe Flacco.
Does that make you less confidence? Not the right word, but less excited about Drake London? Like, love Drake London, but if it's Tua, which it looks like it is Tua, like
yeah, we want Penix. We want Penix. If it's a Drake London, if I'm drafting Drake London, I think he'll be fine with Tua. I think his PPR value is with Tua. It's not better with Tua, but like he'll be fine with Tua in PPR. In half PPR, when you're relying on yards and touchdowns more, no, I don't want Drake London. So we have to factor that in. But the upside is if Tua stays with the job and keeps the job, that means he's playing well, right? That's kind of the upside. And then the nice thing is you have Michael Penix. You have Michael Penix right there.
Unless the only issue would be if Penix has a setback and then they're forced to go with Tua all year long.
Jonathan, he works at Taco Bell now. This is referring to Browning. That's what Browning is working at Taco Bell, serving Devontae Adams and Storey the ground beef from hell.
Kid in me likes the frosted side, but the grown-up in me likes the kid in me.
Wow, it looks like Michael Jackson's coming right at me.
He's handing it to Devontae Adams, but then it's all the way on the other side of the restaurant.
Connor says Wilson's a top 7 talent. I agree, bro. I agree. A top 10 for sure. And sorry, you're not quite agreeing with that.
Not quite.
I think he is. And it's the film's great. It's just, if you watch the catches, it's one thing. If you just watch an entire game of Garrett Wilson and you just focus on Garrett Wilson, he's always fucking open. He's being double coverage. Dude could run every route. He could be X, he can be Y, he could be Z. Love Garrett Wilson, man. He's also a fucking competitive ass dude.
That's true. I'm not gonna argue that.
Let's see here. What's up, Jay? It's almost catching up here. A couple more minutes. Play Pats, Bills, 4 games, though. Kind of hard. This is about the Jets, I'm sure. That's not good. But you know what? The Bills' defense is always underperforms, right? And Christian Gonzalez is a very tough matchup. I'll say that.
Yeah, well, Christian Gonzalez is a Christian Gonzalez, top 8 quarterback talent in the league.
Yeah, we're doing a draft, guys. So shout out to Cameron for joining. Appreciate you, man. And hopefully you can get in the draft with us. You got to give me about a 10-minute buffer after we end the show. Set up the next stream. And I haven't gone to the bathroom yet, so it's going to be a long-ass piss. Let's see. When one guy is way more likely to dig into the goal line, uses it over Woody Marks. 100% agreed, man. And there's going to be more of it to go around as well. That's the nice thing for Swift, but Swift is fine. I like Swift again more in PPR, but he only had like 33 receptions last year. Caleb is just not willing to check the ball down. He wants to run around like Josh Allen. It's the James Cook problem, right?
It's a condition, but let's see if Ben Johnson can kind of coach some of that out of him, because they don't want him running around in the pocket and scrambling out of clean pockets this year.
Hard to judge Mecca because of the injury to Baker and him more than half the year. Yeah, and I also don't want to judge him off the first 5 games because he was running so hot. And the film was pretty good. But say what you will about the injuries. The groin injury that he had, did that make him drop passes? It made him jump really terribly, but it didn't really – there's not a correlation between being hurt and dropping wide open passes, right? I'm not going to go there. So that was a problem.
Injury.
Maybe it was a hand injury, but I don't think it was. Baker is a true wild card. After week 4, all the talk was Baker possibly MVP. He was the MVP. Rob loves Zay Flowers, had him last year, was disappointed. But you can't – I mean, last year was Lamar. Even when Lamar was playing, he was awful because he was hurt. And then the backup stuff there was bad. Zay Flowers actually still had a good year. It was 90-plus receptions with that awful year, for the whole team.
Was it really 90?
Check it out. I think it was more than 90, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Are you going to break down the rookie receivers and their camp progress so far? Yeah, we'll probably do something like that. I tend to not look into this stuff too much. Just like the Jacoby Lane hype, like that's something we would talk about. But like, our response, right? Like we're just not buying into that. Let me ask you this: Week 1, Jacoby Lane or Surratt, who plays more snaps?
Surratt.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to think.
I mean, there's a ton of camp hype right now. So outside of Tate, who's looking amazing, by the way. I don't know if you saw that he caught 3 touchdowns in practice the other day.
Did you see Carnell Tate in the preseason game today? Did not look very good.
He didn't. Okay.
He looks small, bro.
Get out of here. All right. We're not doing this again.
Just telling you, dude. I watched the game. That was the one game I was watching.
We're not doing it. Anyway, there's a ton.
He got fucking strong. He got strong manned on a little 8-yard out there in the red zone, right on the goal line. He got a 4th round rookie just fucking manhandled him. So that happened. I'm just saying that happened. Carnell Tate. Calvin Ridley looked really good too. I'm really happy with my Calvin Ridley shares in best ball. I get him in the 17th or 18th round, dude. And his Vegas number is 630 yards receiving, which is so high based on where you're drafting him. You know what I mean? Like he has the same receiving total. It's like 30 yards less than fucking Mekhi Lemon. And yeah, I'm saying maybe bet the under on Calvin Ridley's receiving yards. But the point is, one guy is wide receiver 35, one guy is wide receiver 85.
Damn.
Calvin Ridley's going to be involved. Like they need him. They need a veteran there.
Yeah, maybe we should be adjusting how we think about Calvin Ridley for the rest of the season, because McMillan is hurt again. Hurst is a rookie. Kate Otten is Kate Otten.
Wait, we're talking about the Bucs. We're talking about the fucking Titans.
What were we talking about? I wasn't paying attention. I was fine.
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley. Right. For some reason, I had what's his name in my head.
Calvin Ridley is going to be on the field, and if you told me Calvin Ridley puts up better numbers than Carnell Tate this year, I wouldn't be like, that's insane.
Cool.
Calvin Ridley's 31 years old.
I'm not really interested in the third passing option in a Tennessee Titans offense.
Is he the third passing option, though? Is he? Do we know
this? I'm pretty sure he's not going to beat out Carnell Tate and Wan'Dale Robinson.
Do we know that Carnell Tate's a better player right now than Calvin Ridley?
And current Calvin Ridley? Yes. We would with 100% certainty do.
It's a Cheetah Story, come back to earth. Yeah, you were talking about, I was talking about Ridley. You're still talking about the Bucks. Jolly Pop just got back from the Raiders Cards game. That was a good game. And Marvin Harrison got a touchdown in that game. Shut up, Marvin Harrison. And Genty looked pretty good. Mendoza looked pretty good. Michael Mayer looked pretty good.
Okay. I get it that these guys all look pretty good. We got to temper some expectations because of the fact is we're playing preseason right now.
Yeah. Kate Otten's the man. Funny story as fuck. Started thinking about Kate Otten. He must have been hurt by him before. Yeah. I don't know. What did Kate Otten do to you, man?
Every time that it's at like a week 12 or 13 bye, and everyone's like, Kate Otten, the streaming tight end, he's your streaming tight end you need. The dude posts like 20 yards, if that, like 2 catches for 20 yards. I'm sick of hearing about Kate Otten because he sucks and he's not worthwhile as a fantasy asset. Get him off my screen.
Jolly Pop traded Josh Jacobs for Derrick Henry and the number 2 pick in Dynasty. Who were you thinking, Tate, Price, or Tyson?
Wait, the number 2 pick.
So he's got the draft hasn't started yet for the rookie draft.
Oh, into the rookie draft?
I like the trade because Josh Jacobs doesn't have much more time left than Derrick Henry, also with the suspension stuff. So that you crushed him in that trade. What are we thinking? Price, if you need a running back, I want to go receiver here. They last longer. So I'm still taking Carnell Tate. As much as I was just ripping on Carnell Tate, the answer is Carnell Tate. He's tied to the number 1 overall pick last year in Cam Ward. You got Brian Daboll there. It's Tate. With the Tyson thing, it's already injured. Like, give me Tate.
I'm not going to buy it. Yeah, I'd love to buy into Tyson, but again, he's already injured. I think Tate's a phenomenal prospect. I'm assuming it's not super flex, right?
No, I'm guessing it wouldn't be because then you would just definitely take Mendoza.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
He should know that. Jelly Pop's a smart guy, I think.
Good.
I hope. He's asking us questions, so that means he is smart because he respects our opinion, which makes him smart. You see what I did there? Scoboy, can you tell me some rookies I should pick up or trade for? I'm playing in a dynasty league. So if it's a deep league like ours, it's going to be a bunch of bums. So Jacoby Lane's getting all this hype. Again, whatever. Colby Young is our boy. That's a guy that's always available. We love him. He's competing with Yoshi right now for the 3rd job. He had a nice catch today, 20-yard catch in the preseason game, if you're wondering.
You're going to hear the name Cyrus Allen tossed around a lot, and I think he should be on your radar, but I would not expect much for Cyrus. We hear this every year. Sky Moore, Tyquan Thornton. If playing with the Chiefs and playing with Mahomes, there's always some young guy that comes in thinking it, like, so remember that Seinfeld where Kramer's got the maps, the fireman, he goes into the firehouse, is like, every couple of months, some young buck comes in with new colors for the helmets.
Yeah. Chris Bell, Deion Burks. There's some guys for sure. Chris Bell should definitely be owned. He might be back like week 5, dude. So, and Jonathan says preseason or not, love looking like AP running wise. He picked up an ankle injury on a stupid hip drop tackle, but he kept playing. It's all good.
No. He picked up a hip.
Hey, dude, good.
I thought they were supposed to get rid of this hip drop tackle nonsense.
Well, they can't get rid of it. They can penalize it. They can't get rid of it. They can say all they want. Like,
did the guy get penalized?
They've made heroin illegal. People are still shooting up. I mean, it's the same shit. So,
true.
Scoboy, you guys in the dynasty questions for sure. It's a really deep conversation to be had. We don't really have the time to have it, but you know where the spot is to have it? In the Discord, in the community. So if you get in there, I'll answer all your questions as well as everyone in here. We have a lot of sharp people. Disbanded. What's up, Disbanded? We have Cameron, Scoboy. We got to get Cameron in there. I'm going to send you an email, Cameron, but a lot of awesome people in there as well as all the hosts. So I'm willing to help all you guys out with all your questions. But I can give you more attention and more detail, and I can see your teams. You can send me all that kind of stuff. So use the code PRO, link in the description for the Patreon. It's the time to get in now because the season is 29 days away, and we offer quite a bit of awesome stuff. And even more than this, there's just the list. I don't want to go through the whole thing, but definitely advise you getting in there. It's a small group of people, 50 people in there. And also, if you like to bet, right there. You can't. These are all documented bets. Everyone's been following. We've been crushing the last 4 years. That's going to do it, guys. I'm going to start another stream. We're going to do a underdog draft, and I'll answer more questions there. So if you want to hop in, ask the same questions, I can give you more in-depth analysis. I got to get Storey out of here. He's probably got to piss again, right? It's
true. I do. Broke the seal. Wasn't a good idea.
Jonathan says, what about Worthy playing with Eric Bieniemy now with no Nagy? I think he might get used better now. If he plays,
will.
The question with him is health, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of health, and I'm not sure that the current scheme that they're running is going to support the type of receiver that Worthy is. He will get more run though, which is nice. The problem is, like, I wonder if that shoulder injury is going to be okay the rest of this year.
I hope so, because he's really small. He's not a monster of a man, so that shoulder injury is very concerning. Michael, I have the 9th spot on my 12-man league. Is it crazy to take Genty instead of Lamb? No, Genty is in PPR. Either way, it doesn't matter because Lamb's a receiver. So I actually like Genty over Lamb. It's close, though. Lamb is, I want to say Lamb's safer, but is that even the case?
No, maybe. I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, we fully expect Genty to take a step forward, but if this offense is bad this year, like, just, it is still the Raiders. Kubiak should make some definite improvements there. I think outside of the injury plague season from Lamb last year, he's been as safe a wide receiver as we can fully expect, right?
Yeah, it's weird because in half PPR, you definitely want the running back, but Genty, in my mind, compared to the other running backs like James Cook and Barkley, like, Genty needs to be ticked up because he's a guy that has 50, 60, 70 reception upside. So I would probably go Genty, bro. Like, that's how I'm going to probably play it. It's close. If I had 10 leagues of that pick, I'd probably go 4 shares of Lamb, 6 Genty, 5 and 5. So also depends on the scoring.
I'd probably go Lamb.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I'd probably go Lamb.
Colby Young is an X factor, Scoboy. So Scoboy, you should join the community and we will talk about all these things in the Discord, or just join the next stream. Then we can continue the conversation. But Storey, I got to let Storey go. I have to go to the bathroom because I have not broke the seal yet. So great show as always, man. Great exercise. Can't wait to do these shows in the future. The league winning running backs and wide receivers. We can kind of maybe alter the list a little bit. I think it was pretty accurate and pretty, justifiable with what we're talking about.
I agree. I'm excited to see what unfolds. Are we going to do this for tight ends or no? No, probably not, right? Like,
no, we could do a quarterback tight end combo. We'll talk. We still have a couple other. We were running out of time because we have a lot of segments to do. I have 34 drafts I'm streaming coming up soon. I'm still going to make time for you though, Storey, and maybe you can come on and hang out for some of those drafts. I don't like doing our co-managing is tough. It is tough.
Co-managing is tough.
You would never let me take certain players. Yeah, the Discord is our where our community is run from. It is a chat that has a million different channels. That's where we're all based out of with a lot of different stuff. So the link for the Patreon is in the description. That's how you get in. Even the lowest tier gets you in, and you can start there, and then we can talk. So once you join, yeah, with the promo code PRO, Hetzer. Thank you, Hetzer's being a G. With the promo code, it's $2.50 for your first month, $2.50 for your first month, not $250, $2.50, less than a pack of gum. Get in there, and we can help you out with all your dynasty stuff, bro. That's what that's our specialty. Sith Lords are our specialty. Dynasty's our specialty.
What's that from? I don't know what that's from.
Star Wars. The fuck's wrong with you, man?
Yeah,
that's an episode 3, the beginning of episode 3, where he's like, Sith Lords are our. That's Ewan McGregor. Come on, Jesus, Story.
I'm not a huge fan of the prequels. I'm a Star Trek guy anyway.
Yeah, we knew this when you had episode 3 ranked super low on fuck Star Trek. All right. I gotta get out of here. Great show. Story is the goat. Michael, all you guys that still have questions, I'm doing another stream in 10 minutes. So just hop in that one. We're gonna draft a team or two. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Story, you're the man, right. The goat, the legend. Everyone loves you. Hopefully you're not up too late because you had that caffeine, man.
Yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be a rough day tomorrow.
All right. Love your life. Stay positive and respect each other. We'll see you guys in 10 minutes.